this is exactly what you would expect the move to play out of last year. It's a little bit scarier to play it now. Let's see if they can make the RPS work.
Let's be real, that entire EU tournament was the waiting room for the move. We are here, we have arrived, the move are back. Can they battle against the meta, battle against all odds, constantly at the edge of their seat in every series to try and stay alive and accrue enough points to qualify to the spring finals? They are actually so far behind, they need a top first place finish if they want to even have a hope of making it all the way to that spring final land. You don't want to go anywhere. They face elimination in this series.
Yeah, this is going to be a really difficult matchup for the move, but so far they've been managing to find reasonable, consistent pressure here. Smexon getting low, Chun-Li as well. Peekaboo being able to dish out huge damage. WizKay trying to survive using his Vampiric Embrace, trying to keep himself healed up with his Void Eruption, putting out decent amounts of damage. Now a swap over on a Gorecki. Kidney Shot was used. Anti-Magic Zone gets dropped out. One Maledict as well. Peekaboo just trying to create pressure on multiple fronts. And this is what we like to see from the move. They hit multiple targets, really keeping their opponents guessing.
Yeah, most certainly, but there's pressure really mounting now in favor of the boys here in game one. WizKay is going to be under fire with Chun-Li and Smexon tearing him apart. Multiple interrupts to deal with and disruption. Deciding to go for a Psychic Scream, getting a couple of Vampiric touches. Very important to get as many Vampiric touches out as possible. Gorecki getting caught in a stun lock, however, reading the situation, able to activate Iron Bark before that incoming pressure. Still, Peekaboo trying to keep it going for his team. It's very difficult for WizKay in this current meta against these melee cleaves to build pressure in multiple places due to the Expel, Harm, Honor talent of Windwalkers. Chun-Li is self-sustainable, paired up with those heal over time effects from the Restoration Druid. Death Strike for the Death Knight plus heal over time effects. WizKay is going to have a difficult time generating the pressure that he really needs. It's going to be up to Peekaboo to kind of carry the team and set up victory. Currently having a hard time even just making it to a target, trying to catch Chun-Li off guard and more or less trying to just save WizKay. I mean, right now, this is looking very grim. We see a Shackle on the Abomination. Good defensive play yesterday from WizKay against Death Knights. Good defensive play here today, but will it be enough?
I don't know. WizKay, he is taking a lot of damage, and Absurge is burning through his mana quite quickly. Already down to around 40%. You can see Gorecki on the other side of the map, sitting down, resetting his mana entirely. Peekaboo looking for an offensive push, looking to punish that drink, but Smexon has to trade out the AMS, and that's really the only thing the move will be getting from that situation. A nice triple leg sweep, Smexon gripping in Absurge. Chun-Li following it up with that leg sweep, getting everyone stunned up, and this is one of the difficulties of the Restoration Shaman right now. They really struggle to heal through the single target damage we're seeing on WizKay. They can do it, but it costs them a lot of mana, and I think it's going to be really difficult for Absurge to actually get away and drink, especially with Gorecki just hunting him down.
Yeah, Gorecki on babysitting duty to deny Absurge from getting away and being able to regenerate mana. Absurge pre-grounded the Death Grip there. Nice move on Absurge's part. He's going to avoid some extra crowd control as a result, but the pressure just isn't stopping. WizKay constantly under fire. Absurge expending so much mana to just simply recover and keep WizKay above half health, and it's costing his mana so heavily. Finally, some pressure here from Peekaboo, but WizKay has to disperse. He's trying to use the kiting effect as dispersion suppresses snares, so he's able to avoid the Death Knight more easily during that rather than just standing still with the damage reduction. So good kiting on WizKay's part, but ultimately Smexon is going to make it back to the target. Absurge getting gripped in. Triple stun for the boys. Nice moves here as the pressure continues to build.
Yep, WizKay getting lower. Absurge has to play catch up in this situation. Earthen Shield Totem is looking to deflect a little bit of this damage. Gorecki potentially could be looking for a drink once again. He fakes out the Wind Shear. WizKay backs up Absurge with the silence. Nicely done. That allows Absurge enough time to get away from Gorecki. Doesn't want to allow Gorecki to get any Cyclones off, and the move really has to be focusing on stopping that. Full blind thrown onto the Gorecki by Peekaboo. He trinkets out immediately. That's a fair trade. Smexon's making it really difficult for Peekaboo to actually get back on target, throwing out the Chains of Ice. Peekaboo doesn't have the sprint, so he's basically just been wasting time for the last few seconds in this matchup, trying to make a swap on Gorecki. In the meantime, WizKay getting low, forced to use the Void Shift as Absurge gets gripped in. Potential swap here for the boys. They managed to pull out the Astral Shift, and the move is just slowly burning through all their defensive cooldowns, and I don't really see an opening for them, Sid.
This is what they have to do every single tournament, is just basically fight with nothing put something together from thin air. They have done it time and time again in the past, but the boys might be the boss that they cannot take down here in game number 1. It's looking quite grim. WizK supporting the team with Vampiric Embrace. That allows his damage to heal. It's important to pair that up with your Void form, as it makes you have the access to the ability Void Bolt, and does huge healing with that in combination with Vampiric Embrace. Good pressure. Cooldowns forced on the side of the boys. The move are showing signs of life.
Yeah, definitely. There's good pressure here onto Smexen. Nice shackle undead by WizK onto the abomination of Smexen. WizK has been doing such a tremendous job with that ability just to really slow down some of that Death Knight damage. Nice double fear by WizK, allowing him to get off some vampiric touches and Shadowward Pains to start loading up some damage onto the boys. But Chun-Li and Smexen, they have a lot of self-healing. They'll be able to keep themselves alive quite easily. But in terms of mana, Gorecki actually isn't doing that great. Absurge's been managing to hold on somehow, some way. And if they can pull this off, that would be a miracle. Peekaboo looking for additional pressure. WizK getting low. Dispersion's already been used. Triple stun set up once again. Absurge trinkets out, drops the Spirit Link. Outside of that, there's really nothing left. WizK has to kite away, try to avoid some of this damage, but Smexen and Chun-Li still all over him.
Yeah, this is not looking good for the move here in game number 1. They're running out of time. They got no mana. Dampening is now engaged, and WizK is still in trouble. Absurge has no mana to work with, and he's likely to fall. Peekaboo in desperation blinds Chun-Li, trying to take control of him, but he wasn't able to sap out of it. Now Chun-Li might be free. He's got Touch of Death rolling. Peekaboo stalls it out for a few more seconds, but he's running out of stall tactics. They mind control the Touch of Death to try and deny the explosion. Top level play from the team of the move, but even still just falling more and more behind. Gorecki still has more than enough mana in the tank, going for Cyclones, looking to close. Absurge can't do anything. He's locked out of the fight. Desperation, Psychic Scream, but now Fists of Fury. Kidney Shot stops the Fists of Fury. The move doing everything they can in their power to stay alive in this fight against the boys, against all odds. Holding on by a thread. 2 more seconds to that Vampiric Embrace. Now available for WizK. Likely needs to be pulled out immediately, but he doesn't have Void form to pair with it. His damage output is so much lower, which means the healing of Vampiric Embrace is lower. Maybe you should have saved the insanity for this push. They drop the Smoke Bomb. Desperately trying to make something happen on Smexen, but still just not enough damage to put it over. But at least they've managed to stay alive for Dispersion. There is still hope for the move.
Yep, WizK might have to use the Dispersion here. He gets gripped back in. Smexen, Chun-Li tearing him apart. Silence onto Gorecki. Smexen getting low. He doesn't really have too many defensives. Who's going to fall first? WizK forced into the Dispersion. That'll keep him alive a little bit longer. Smexen's last line of defense is that anti-magic zone. If they can keep WizK inside of that zone while putting out pressure on WizK, they could ultimately take him down. Now a setup coming in from Chun-Li and Smexen as they turn their attention over onto Peekaboo. Incapacitate onto Absurge. Can they take down WizK and Peekaboo? We'll have to see. Gorecki still tapped on mana. Good pressure here from the move as well. Both sides have a lot of momentum in this matchup.
All right, both sides are out of mana at this point, but defensive cooldowns heavily in favor of the boys. Can the move do it? They're still so far behind, and dampening is so high. Hex on Chun-Li, trying to stall it out as they switch targets to Smexen. Bursting him, they get Icebound Fortitude. The cooldowns are starting to even out. Mistakes are being made on the side of the boys. If WizK can stay afloat a tiny bit longer, what cooldowns does he have coming up? It's 30 seconds away from Spirit Link Totem. 30 seconds is a really long time in this situation, but they've got desperation plays with Blind on Chun-Li and Mind Control on Smexen. They're stalling it. They're holding out. They need 26 more seconds. 26 seconds has never seemed like an eternity, but in this position it may just be. Peekaboo makes a swap. WizK sets it up with a silence. They pull the final defensive cooldown from Smexen. Touch of Death goes off. WizK holds on. 13 more seconds. 12 more seconds. 10 more seconds. Can WizK stay in it? 8 more seconds. Now caught to Alexei. 5 more seconds. This is so depressing if he's not able to make it to that point. 2 more seconds. 1 more second. Spirit Link Totem. They get in it. They stay alive, and now they have a chance to reverse.
Yeah, Gorecki's still completely tapped on mana, and Peekaboo, he actually has the Vendetta available. Chun-Li with no touch of Karma, he could easily fall. WizK trying to keep himself alive with the Vampiric Embrace. Who's gonna fall first? WizK goes down, and the boys managed to get game number 1, but what a close call. The move with miracle plays, making that not close, or making that very close indeed.
Oh, but every Sunday has been for the boys thus far this year.
I think it's a low percentage play, but it's the highest one that they have. Otherwise, it would be Windwalker DK, they're gonna get wrecked if they try to do that against Chun-Li and Smexin. And of course the other one would be the Rogue Death Knight. Again, I think they would get wrecked in that matchup as well, just because the Windwalker is so good into that Rogue.
You know, even if you haven't been watching WoW esports for very long, if you haven't been watching the AWC, there is one thing that reigns true in every season, and that is you can't count out the move. They're going against one of the toughest teams in the game, but before, they have managed to get reverse sweeps against teams like this. But the boys are looking fantastic here. They already have one in their back pocket. They're going to try to get themselves on match point.
Yeah, the move don't care if they play at a disadvantage. They want to play with their highest synergy, highest skill-capped composition, even if it is not the strongest in the current meta. We see a current attack here onto Chun-Li. They actually dropped the smoke bomb a tad bit late, trying to catch him off guard. You're not going to catch Chun-Li off guard, though. Touch of Karma makes a trade. They're actually trying to cut through it. Perhaps they can cut through it. Chun-Li taking huge damage in the initial exchange of...
For sure, for the move.
We're jumping right back into the game, and we had to hop out for a second. We had a technical issue, and we might be coming back just to see WizK get taken down.
Yeah, WizK trying to hold on. Big pressure for Chun-Li and Smexin as he dips lower and lower. Abster trying to find the heals, but there's really not much defense left for the move. Earthen Shield Totem does get dropped down. Triple leg sweep. WizK, Peekaboo, they trinket out. That's not going to be an option for Abster. WizK is going to have to hold on a little bit longer, but I just think the damage is too high, Sid.
I mean, they're getting overwhelmed. They're getting swarmed. There's nothing left defensively for the move. If they can't kill Chun-Li here in this stun, it's unlikely to happen here in game number 2, going head-to-head with the boys. They've managed to stay alive 10 more seconds on that dispersion. They're trying to buy time with a triple Psychic Scream. I think they've actually managed to buy it. They go for a smoke bomb. They sap Gorecki as he dropped combo with 2 members in the bomb. Peekaboo trying to set up here for an MVP play, but doesn't have enough damage to back it up. Smexin denies it. Instead, the move switch targets once again to go after Chun-Li, but now with Touch of Karma available, unlikely to find a kill there either. Void form activated, but Touch of Death. Let's see if we can see a timed mind control. I don't think WizK is going to be able to find it, and if he gets interrupted, he can't disperse, so instead takes the safer play, disperses, and basically reduces the effectiveness of that Touch of Death entirely. But now they switch to Peekaboo. Peekaboo has to defensively shadow step to safety and try to escape. They're behind on mana, they're behind on cooldowns, and they're behind on momentum. Can the move battle against the wave?
If there's any team that can do it, it would be them. Kidney shot now on Chun-Li. That gets deflected easily by Gorecki's Iron Bark. Another triple leg sweep going to be used. Chun-Li using his Ring of Peace to deny the Earthen Shield Totem from the move. WizK with an Empiric Embrace trying to hold on a little bit longer. That Void Eruption is going to provide him a lot of healing. Move actually gets completely stabilized and topped off, but WizK still going down. Lots of pressure here from Chun-Li and Smexin. WizK with that Gladiator's Maledict on him, trying to hold on just a little bit longer, kiting away. Vendetta used by Peekaboo, trying to counter pressure Smexin, but he has so many tools to still survive. Abster's almost completely tapped on mana. WizK getting lower and lower. I think the boys are going to close this out.
Yeah, they're very close to it. Another Cyclone secured. Abster's forced to use Gladiator's Medallion to remove it. What options do they have? They're a few seconds away from another defensive cooldown. They've managed to buy seconds on the clock that they didn't normally have to avoid death, and perhaps they can do it again here in game number 2. It's just such an uphill battle. There's really no opportunities right now for the move to be able to swing back in this fight. They're trying to gun down Smexin. Void form activated. WizK is ready and raring to go. How much damage can he dish out here in this couple of seconds? They need to force cooldowns. They're not even getting cooldowns on this exchange. Abster gets cycloned again by Gorecki. Top tier Druid trying to set up his team for the win. That nets them a dispersion from WizK. Gorecki's mana starting to equalize with Absterge. Perhaps opportunity knocks for the move, despite the deck being stacked against them.
Yeah, Gorecki, what is he doing right now? He's in stealth. Is he sitting down for a drink? No, unable to recover any of his mana, and now things have evened out. This is another opportunity for the move. Have they managed to stay alive long enough? Absterge, he still has the Spirit Link down. That's a get out of jail free card for WizK. As long as Absterge isn't in crowd control, they can keep him alive. Touch of Death gets used. This could easily be the Spirit Link totem. WizK is going to be taking a lot of damage. He might have faded it. Good fade there by WizK. Prevents the Touch of Death damage. The boys are rotting down. Things are looking good for the move. Chun-Li and a kidney shot. Silence on Gorecki. Chun-Li has to get out of the stun. He needs to get the Touch of Karma off. He manages to find it. A lot of this damage will be redirected to WizK now. Fortunately, oh, that was a nice Pandaren Racial onto Chun-Li. That denies a lot of the damage over time effects and actually prevents Chun-Li from getting damage redirected with that Touch of Karma. Beautiful plays.
Spiritling Totem right before the stun. Can they do it? Peekaboo's on a solo mission to Gorecki. WizK is trying to take out Chun-Li by himself. Can Peekaboo keep up the chase? No, he's forced to go back. That anti-magic zone protects Gorecki, so instead going after a more vulnerable target. But WizK once again needs 10 more seconds. I don't think he's got 10 seconds on the clock. They shackle up the Abomination. They blind the Windwalker. They mind control the Death Knight. They take control of all the players that could otherwise kill WizK to try and buy it. A couple extra seconds on the clock. They've done it. They have the seconds. They have dispersion. Now they need to try and build momentum here at 17% dampening. Gorecki totally tapped. They drop the smoke bomb. Is Chun-Li gonna fall? Are the move gonna pull it off? Gorecki jumps into the bomb, but there's multiple Maledicts soaking up his heals. Chun-Li holds on by a thread at 10%. Forced to retreat away. Chun-Li WizK disperses and pushes forward to try and hunt down Chun-Li, but he can't find him. Instead, deciding to build space, try and develop some more momentum for one more push. There's Void Shift actually. WizK's got one more out to stay alive. He needs it right now. He's gonna Void Shift Upsurge right as the Cyclone lands. Stay alive for a couple of more seconds. A dance with death, a dance on the edge, and that's the move.
Yep, and WizK could ultimately fall still. Upsurge has a lot of work ahead of him. Chun-Li with the Touch of Karma, he's going to be feeling quite safe. Incapacitate, paralysis onto Upsurge. Triple leg sweep once again. Peekaboo could easily fall. Doesn't have the evasion, gets caught into the diminishing return asphyxiate from Smexen. Upsurge somehow keeps him up. Peekaboo, he's holding on by a thread. Still kiting away, but Rising Sun Kick will be enough to put another point on the board for the boys. But the move, they are not making this easy.
Flash as well in the opener, so it's going to be very crucial that he doesn't get taken out of step, because then they are immediately going to be falling back on the side of the move. A lot of the kiting is going to be revolving around concussive shot. Ooh, Gorecki might be getting found here. Peekaboo is definitely looking for him.
Here it is.
And there's a snipe shot.
Yes,
they have to kill him in the opener.
Used. They're all in on Chun-Li. How is he going to respond? There's a kidney shot. Trinket Touch of Karma gets used out. Are they going to be able to kill him through it? Gorecki gets caught into a cheap shot, into a full trap. Run, Chun-Li, run. How are you going to survive this? Jellybeans, Peekaboo, they're looking for an all-in. Chun-Li has to keep himself alive a little bit longer. Fist of Fury parry might have done the job. Gorecki connects the Ironbark, and I think Chun-Li's going to survive.
Yeah, and if he doesn't die here, look at Jellybeans. He's got exhilaration, but really nothing else left in the tank. Really good opener from the move. I think Abster should have played Paladin. If their plan was to just all in the Windwalker and kill him, they could have just used Blessing of Protection, and Chun-Li's out of the game. He's just completely gone. And that's the weakness for the move, is that Absterge is just limited to the Shaman so far from what we've seen in tournaments. I think the strategy with the Paladin would be a great Windwalker killer.
Scatter shot on Gorecki. Chun-Li could still be in some trouble. He's in a kidney shot. He has no defensive cooldowns left. He still has to kite away. Windwalkers have a decent amount of self-healing. The Fist of Fury parry as well, trying to stay on target instead of run away. Now Gorecki with the Ironbark once again. I don't see Chun-Li falling. Touch of Karma almost available. Absurge almost tapped on mana. Still has about 25% left, but that move, that doesn't seem like they really have a clear win condition at this point. I think the boys have completely stabilized.
Oh, everyone in a stun lock. 1 second away. 1 second away. Aspect of the Turtle on 10% health. Jellybean stays alive. Maybe for one more opportunity, that yellow icon below his frame, that's the double tap. He's going to activate it, so his next aim shots are going to hit huge. Instead, going for a rapid fire. Chun-Li was going out of line of sight, so he wanted to just get whatever damage output he could, but still just not enough really to force them back. Every defensive cooldown available for the boys. The all-in didn't work, and I think the move are going to be getting knocked out of the tournament here as Jellybeans gets crushed. The boys 3-0 in the lower bracket.
You saw the potential of that burst, but
could be just
we've seen people play double fire
maybe not in these tournaments, but on the ladder. I don't know.
This is the best day ever.
Yep, Snuts and Chanimals teammates playing double destruction Warlock against Method Orange. How's this going to work out? I mean, Chanimals and Snuts are going to be able to really punish Method Orange, especially if we have Trill just running after Cubsy in this game.
Still, I mean, the Restoration Shaman, the Grounding Totem, pretty effective at disabling Warlocks, especially of the Destruction variety, but Are they going to split DPS? Are they going to go with the normal strategy of Trill running down the Druid trying to mana burn him while Mez builds pressure on another target? That appears to be the strategy that they're going to employ, but that means that Chanimal is going to be left open to free cast. Snuts is now left open to free cast. 2 Infernals chasing down Method Orange. Finally, Method Orange getting a taste of their own medicine. I feel like Trill's always running these double stack class shenanigans, and now he's having it used against him, but I don't know if it's gonna work.
It definitely could. I mean, we see what happens when teams go late into dampening against Destruction Warlocks. The Destruction Warlock can be exploited. You just train them, you interrupt them over and over and over. That's not going to be a big problem for Super Frogs. They have 2 of them, so you're going to have to shut down double the amount of Chaos Bolts, double the amount of Infernals, and I think Super Frogs may be onto something with this matchup, but I think it's a little too early to tell.
Yeah, it's definitely too early to tell here, as Trill's team often focusing on late dampening mana rift strategies for victory. So likely to be a long one unless we see a gigantic Chaos Bolt snuck in from the team of the Super Frogs. I'm still just trying to take a moment to take it all in. Chanimal and Snuts on the same team, and then actually playing both as Warlock against Sea-Doo and Mez. I don't think there's ever a point where I would have even considered this as an option.
Trill caught into the bash. Big damage coming in from Chanimals and Snuts. There is a lot of Chaos Bolts that Method Orange has to deal with and try to shut down in this match. Sea-Doo's mana is doing quite well. Cubsy still trying to escape. His composition so far has been doing a pretty good job at allowing Cubsy to avoid at least some mana rifts. Cubsy consistently crossing the map, and what that does is it forces Trill into the open, where he will be susceptible to the damage of Snuts and Chanimals and also the fear spam.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a case of having to do hit and runs, trying to snag mana rifts when they can while still avoiding 2 Chaos Bolts. Snuts raining down a ton right now towards Trill. Curious if Chanimal can back him up at all. They've bursted Trill down quite low. Windshear blocks Chaos Bolts. Trill ducks around the corner, stays alive, but now they've left Mez in center field. Snuts and Chanimal, tag team Warlock Dream, going to be turning their attention to him. Anybody walks in line of sight of these 2 Warlocks, and they are going to be taking huge damage.
Yep, Trill eating another Chaos Bolt. Sea-Doo has been able to deal with it so far. Sea-Doo trinketed out a little bit early on. If he gets caught in midfield, potentially into a Mortal Coil, into a second Mortal Coil, maybe Chanimals could take him down. Trill taking quite a bit of burst. He gets vortexed into the midfield, and this composition isn't looking bad for Super Frogs at all. They've had good, consistent pressure. Method Orange, I feel like they're really struggling to stick to their game plan.
I mean, it's really difficult to do so if Cubsy constantly pulls them out in the open. You don't want to be in the open against 2 Destruction Warlocks, and maybe that's the equation to counteract this new age melee cleave that goes after the blue bar. We're going to have to wait and see. We've never seen this matchup before, let alone in a tournament setting. Snuts is pulling the trigger on his Infernals. He wants to get cooking some big Chaos Bolts, gets denied by Mez, Chanimal gets denied, but Snuts was still open. Anti-Magic Zone, Grounding Totem. It's going to deny a couple more Chaos Bolts, allowing Trill some breathing room, but now Mez is left in center field. Chanimal still has his Infernal in his back pocket. Cubsy getting pressured, though, as a double Maledicts play. They're trying to race down the healer, find a kill. Not going to find it. Cubsy escapes.
Yeah, he does manage to escape. Still trying to consistently run across the map. Trill catches them, though. Lands a Mana Rift. Cubsy's mana not doing great as he looks to escape once again. Can Mez shut him down and keep him in combat? That's going to be really important in this matchup. Cubsy can get in stealth and never reset his mana. That's going to be huge for the Super Frogs. The Method Orange, they're still playing the waiting game. All they have to do is try to live, burn down Cubsy's blue bar. That's really their objective. Get rid of the blue bar, and then eventually they could get rid of the green ones, which is that health bar. So that's the objective of Method Orange. They just have to hold on for dear life and not make any mistakes, because Chanimals and Snuts on 2 Destruction Warlocks will be able to punish mistakes quite easily.
All right, Cubsy's getting hunted down, but Chanimal and Snuts are teeing off in center field. You don't have enough interrupts to stop 2 Destruction Warlocks. Fortunately, before dampening, Mez and Trill can rely on their self-sufficiency with that leech, soul rending, healing on the Demon Hunter and the Death Strike for Mez. But deeper into dampening, that advantage is then going to be lost, and it will be up to Sea-Doo to recover the health of his teammates. And I'm not sure if they actually will be able to. I'm wondering if in deep dampening they go for a darkness all in onto one of the Warlocks, try and kill them through their defensive cooldowns on ending resolve, while they can rely on darkness to keep them safe. Sea-Doo getting crowd controlled, Chanimal lining up a Chaos Bolt straight to Trill. Blur is going to trade out. Will that be enough? It appears to be enough for now, but 3 Chaos Bolts in a row now casted. 2 Fears being casted at the same time. You really have to pick your timing on your interrupts and make sure that you have a way to stop this, because 2 Chaos Bolts sneak in deep dampening and you're done.
And Cubsy is almost completely tapped on mana at this point in the game. He's been doing a good job at Sea-Doo in hot pursuit of making sure that he's never able to really escape and reset his mana bar. And I think until a little bit deeper in dampening, I think Method Orange will be able to stabilize and stay alive with the amount of self-healing these two classes have. Chanimals has his Infernals at about a minute, as well as that Dark Soul in 20 seconds. Snuts has about 30 seconds on his Infernals. If they can line those up once again. In fact, I don't even know if lining them up together is necessarily the best thing. Maybe one Warlock wants to use a set of cooldowns, make it really scary for Method Orange, and then rotate in a second set of offensive cooldowns to try to put Method Orange down and get through some of those defensives. Just have to see what they're going to do exactly.
This composition is scary for Method Orange, but you want to know who it's more scary for is the latter. If Super Frogs can win this first game, I can only imagine how many Destruction Warlocks are sitting at home like, wait, I can play that? Where's my buddy? I'm picking up my buddy. I'm going to run double Destruction Warlock. Just tear apart people with these Chaos Bolts. Infernals have landed. Snuts is looking to try and get a kill here shortly. He's being denied so far, but for how much longer? Double Mortal Coil out of that anti-magic zone. He gets grounding totemed. Nice play by Sea-Doo, redirecting that Chaos Bolt. Now Snuts gets Mind Frozen. Good interrupt mechanics by Method Orange to deny those critical Chaos Bolts. But now another Infernal has landed from Chanimal. Do they have enough? 2 Chaos Bolts. Drill might just get taken out. Multiple Maledicts. Darkness, Spearling Totem, everything but the kitchen sink to stay alive. Even still might not be enough. Double Mortal Coil. Chanimal says enough. One more Chaos Bolt gets Mind Frozen. It's just one more Chaos Bolt and they're going to be able to get a kill. They're not finding it. They're pinned down at the pillar with not much defense. Mana has evened out. Did Cubsy manage to sneak away?
He actually got a little bit of a drink earlier on, so I think he's still around 30% mana, now in stealth once again, but Method Orange is really struggling. Sea-Doo's healing is not significant enough to keep him alive. Cubsy on 50% mana, things in favor of the Super Frogs. They still have all the defensive cooldowns. Trill could potentially go down if they find the damage. I can't believe Super Frogs is using this composition. Is this really the answer to Death Knight Demon Hunter? Double Warlock? Really? Now Snuts Channel still spamming out some fears, looking to get some control of the game, looking to find some damage. Sea-Doo has managed to stabilize Method Orange for now, but it's only a matter of time. They've burned through Anti-Magic Zone and Darkness. They can't rely on those defensive cooldowns any longer.
Yeah, those are the team-wide cooldowns. That main objective now out of the way. And then we look at the timers for Chanimal and Snuts. Minute and 20 seconds away from Infernals for Snuts. Minute and 40 seconds away for Chanimal. So all they have to do is stay alive to that point. If they can't just kill somebody before it anyway, they've got a mana lead. They've got the cooldown advantages. And this composition is looking like it's going to be it for Super Frogs to take out Method Orange, at least in game number 1. Perhaps Method Orange have a different composition to go head-to-head with this double Warlocks. But when I saw Snuts get picked up by the Super Frogs, I wasn't thinking to myself, yeah, they're going to play that double Warlock. That's going to carry them through the tournament, definitely. And I was thinking, oh, he's going to flex player, play some Rogue, play some Mage, play some Ellie Shaman. But I guess this double Warlock might just be enough. Now 40 seconds away from that Infernal timing, impending doom for Method Orange.
Yeah, it can definitely be scary, but they have some of their defensive cooldowns rotating back up. I think Method Orange should be able to deal with it. Snuts actually falling a little bit behind now, and Method Orange might be playing into their win condition. Cubsy's mana is not doing well. Snuts getting lower on health. He can't just sit in the midfield any longer. Chanimals doesn't seem to have the counter pressure they need. Mez grips him out of line of sight of Cubsy. Cubsy gets caught to the capstone as well. Nice setup here from Method Orange as Snuts gets lower. I don't know if Cubsy's going to be able to recover, Sid.
It's going to be really difficult. This is what I thought might be the win condition for Method Orange, is to just push one of the Warlocks over with a collided effort. Can they take take Snuts down. Can Chanimal save Snuts? He needs some backup. He needs some big Chaos Bolts. Where are they, Chanimal? He goes for the Unending Resolve. They go for an all-in. He gets anti-magic zone deflected on it. They still got multiple Chaos Bolts, 2 Dark Souls. What is Method Orange going to do? It's likely the smart idea to just run away and say, okay, that's the Infernals. Let's just try and pause it out and stay alive for a couple more seconds to that darkness, then go for a big push. 10 more seconds on that for Trill with a curveball. Will the double Warlock ultimately work out for the Super Frogs? It looks funny, but maybe it's not good. Mez gets bursted, double Mallet.
He can die!
Spirit Totem available, darkness. Mez holds on, he gets speared out of the darkness. He has to get Spirit Totem by Cedo, and where are the Chaos Bolts? Snuts is casting one, gets wind sheared. Where's Chanimal's Chaos Bolt? He's casting, do they have a stop? They don't have it, they max range it. Snuts gets stopped on his Chaos Bolt. I'm just monitoring 2 Chaos Bolts. Chanimal sneaks one in, that's gonna connect on Mez, 2 in a row onto Mez. There's not much left, dampening is very high, no mana left in the tank. They grip Snuts to the pillar to try and finish him off, but they've left Chanimals open for so long. He's gonna give a gateway to Snuts so he can get back to midfield and try and kite them into center field to finish this. I mean, Method Orange, it's do or die.
Yeah, they have to make the push. Cedo caught into the full fear. Mez could go down. He trinkets. He has anti-magic shell. 1 Chaos Bolt lands. Cubsy stabilizes team. Snuts is in a lot of trouble, though. There's not too much healing left from Cubsy. Snuts has to make an all-in play. Mez gets and they get the first point on the board. Super Frogs, Chanimal, Snuts, Cubsy.
A lot of damage onto Samayam, and that's how you set up those drinks. Potentially get a sheep on Cedo, a fear on Trill, and damage onto Samayam, and then of course you want to drag the game late, as you have that Frost Mage not going to be able to pack that same punch as Snuts did on the Destruction Warlock.
Man, looking at chat right now, everybody's just spamming Nerf Lock. Lock's had one of the toughest years. Now they're back in fighting form. They grab the first win, but now we're going to see Wealthy Man. He's going to be attacking on that Frost Mage. Samayam going to be the trick for Method Orange. Is that going to be enough to tie it up? We find out now.
See, here is the main problem for me, is the Frost Mage free casted damage I don't think is going to be as scary as the Destruction Warlock. And one of the reasons why I like double Destro is when Trill's just running at Cubsy the entire game, Snuts and Chanimal were able to punish them quite heavily. I don't know if Wealthy Man's going to be able to do the same thing. Potentially. He does have polymorph spam for Trill, so there is a different DR, and maybe that is their game plan. Keep Trill away from Cubsy, allow him to drink, and Wealthy Man being on the mage with more roots, as well as more snares, and a separate DR with polymorph might actually allow them to do that. Meanwhile, they can tee off on Samayam, who is going to be a good target, and if he wants to get onto Cubsy, he's going to have to move through the middle of the field. And that way, Wealthy Man and Chanimals, they have an opportunity to do some damage.
Demon Hunter, Balance Druid, Restoration Shaman. This is the composition that got Method Orange their BlizzCon title. Bringing in Samayam off the bench, trying to allow him to carry the team. We have seen Balance Druids utilized against these double wizard setups with Knobbers over in Europe, so potentially there is promise there, but if they go down here on Tolvaron Arena on their map pick, on their comp advantage, it's not looking too good for Method Orange. Lots of damage on Samayam. Perfect Ursul's Vortex, pulling Samayam back into midfield, locking him down. Cedo still in polymorph, now able to get out. Trill trading reverse magic in a diminishing return to polymorph. I'm not sure if that was the highest value, and it's still just a lot of damage on Samayam. Spirit Link Totem as well. Method Orange are definitely starting to crack here early on.
Well, Cedu's playing Relentless, so he has no trinket available. If Wealthy Man and Chanimal can secure Polymorph and Fear onto Cedu, Samayam's going to be left in a situation where he's all alone. He has to keep himself alive with Frenzied Regen. You know, Cedu or Samayam feels like he is a target in this matchup. He opted to spec into Renewal, so he really needs the healing. He can opt to use that. Wealthy Man now with his Icy Veins looking to get hyper-aggressive onto Samayam. Cedu shortly will be off Polymorph Diminishing Return. Wealthy Man might consider wanting to push in and get some crowd control, but it doesn't look like it. Chanimal, Wealthy Man, they're going to be controlling up Trill. He's separated from his team. You can see Cedu and Samayam, they're on the other side of the map. Trill just trying to hunt down Cubsy and burn his mana, but so far, Super Frogs, they've been able to deal with that strategy easily.
The advantage of bringing Chanimal and Warlock instead of something like we've seen Valet on Shadow Priest is that they have spammable fear, so they can fear Trill. Cedu dispels that, so Trill can hit his target, then Wealthy Man polymorphs Trill. And then Trill doesn't move for an extended period of time and can't Mana Rift on cooldown. So this composition at least makes sense on paper in terms of trying to stall the fight out. Perhaps the double destruction is more damage, but the mage is certainly more control. Cubsy getting caught, stun into Mana Rift. potentially going to look to position into the center field so that Chanimal Wealthy Man can back him up once again. Fear on Trill. Sea-Doo tries to cross the map to dispel it. It's too far away. Now they've switched some damage over to Sam-I-Am. Sea-Doo tried to cross. It got crowd controlled. He is now going to get reverse magicked. Curious to see if they can get anything else off the back of that. Not able to. Chanimal looking for a Mortal Coil. Not able to find any Chaos Bolts with it. Bit of a stalemate here. About a couple minutes into the match. Again, we haven't seen these compositions go head-to-head. It is difficult to predict who actually has an advantage. If the Super Frogs can assist Cubsy late into dampening, Sam-I-Am has been bursted down quite low early on, and potentially he is an open target for Super Frogs.
Sam-I-Am still trying to find some pressure, but Wealthy Man forcing Sam-I-Am to run away just a little bit. Chanimal's looking for a fear, finds it on Sam-I-Am. No crowd control secured on Sea-Doo just yet. Trill charging in, but Cubsy finds a restealth. He's going to be crossing the map, and now Trill's basically wasting his time. Now forced to go back onto Wealthy Man, look for some damage there. Fell Eruption going to be committed, and that means that he doesn't have that available for Cubsy, which means he's not going to be able to land the Mana Rift, and Super Frog's mana will be extended. Cubsy's looking for a re-stealth, but all three members from Method Orange will be shutting that down as Cubsy's just consistently running across the map, running laps just to make as much space as possible, really punishing Method Orange, especially when they're caught in the middle of the map. Wealthy Man and Chanimal's going to be able to tee off on them.
Yep, Sam-I-Am getting bursted here in, and now able to get back to the pillar. Sea-Doo looking to reconvene with him as soon as possible, but every time that Sea-Doo and Sam-I-Am play defensive, they then switch their attention to Trill, either crowd controlling him and allowing Cubsy to escape, or bursting him down and then forcing Sea-Doo to overextend either way, which then exposes Sea-Doo. So constantly Super Frogs are making good swaps on their targeting and really trying to keep that mana lead in their favor, going up against Method Orange here in the upper brackets. That double destruction Warlock is likely to show its face again here in the series, but when they're picking blind, Super Frogs feel more confident with this Mage and Warlock, and that's what we were critiquing, saying that maybe it's just better to play double destruction the whole time. I'm really wondering what they're afraid of as that double destruction Warlock. Is it this balanced Druid Demon Hunter composition? It could be, and by bringing in a Mage, they have Polymorph, so they can control Trill behind the pillar. Right now with a Frost Nova, Trill is not going to be moving for quite some time. Then they can Polymorph him, and they can Fear him, and then Cubsy can drink. So if you didn't bring in the Mage, Cubsy would never get to drink, and that's probably what I'm thinking they're considering going in with this composition blind.
I want to know how much distance Cubsy has covered in these last two games, just running non-stop in cat form, crossing the map. Once again, behind the pillar, looking for a re-stealth. Trill chases him down. And Trill just really hasn't been able to find the same amount of mana burns we normally see. Wealthy Man and Chanimal's are really focusing on just crowd control, spamming out crowd control, and that's one of the main strengths of this Mage Lock Druid setup. You have the Mage spamming out Polymorph and Roots, you have Chanimals spamming out, Fears, as well as stuns with the Shadow Fear, and you just have so much control of the matchup. Sea-Doo ever gets caught in crowd control, then it's going to be really scary for Sam-I-Am or Trill, and Trill's just really struggling to stay on target with the amount of CC Super Frogs has available.
Yeah, he certainly is, and this strategy could work for Super Frogs, and it's actually very curious how they managed to figure this out. Maybe they've got some war games under their belt against this Demon Hunter strategy with the Balanced Druid instead, because it's obviously a lot more difficult to avoid a Balanced Druid's damage and dampening than a Death Knight, so they can just crowd control Trill. I mean, he's sitting Entangling Root after Entangling Root, Frost Nova, Polymorph, Fear. Sea-Doo can't dispel all of these effects, and then that gives Cubsy so much breathing room to reset the fight, add some damage with Feral Affinity, and potentially give Super Frogs the opportunity to burst a target down in dampening for a kill. Good cross-crowd control initiation. They've isolated Sam-I-Am, realizing that situation was not a good trade. Sam-I-Am then tries to retreat back to the pillar with Sea-Doo, looking for a couple of seconds to recover.
Yep, Chanimal's trying to find some damage there on Trill, but Trill's been pretty solid in this matchup so far, but I really feel like Trill's going to be an excellent target for the Super Frogs. If he's continuing to play in the midfield, he's going to be getting hit by these Chaos Bolts from Chanimal. Wealthy Man's going to be able to build up consistent damage, and a lot of that leech healing we see from the Demon Hunter isn't going to be nearly as effective, so potentially a target change for Wealthy Man and Chanimals a little bit later on in the fight, but for now they're very comfortable with just keeping Sam-I-Am at bay, controlling up Trill with Polymorph, limiting the amount of damage he's able to put out. Cubsy's mana doing completely fine and healthy, but with the way Method Orange is playing it, Sea-Doo's still relatively healthy as well in terms of mana. 20% dampening, though, things are going to start getting super unstable. Cubsy with a Shadow Meld on that last Maledict. Very nicely done, utilizing that racial in order to stay alive. Barkskin and Ironbark committed, but that was the incarnation from Samayam. I don't know if Method Orange is going to have that kind of burst potential again, at least not until that cooldown's back up.
Yeah, that was the all-in from Method Orange, and Cubsy denies the kill with a well-timed Dispel into Shadow Meld, avoiding that Gladiator's Maledict. Quite an effective way to burst a target down, and now the Super Frogs look to counter-aggress, bursting down Samayam, forcing a Spirit Link totem. Even with that, it may not be enough. Trill manages to get inside and beef up Samayam's health just that little bit more. The thing is if Method Orange's only win condition is to try and all-in Cubsy, and they don't kill him, the amount of time they spend in open field chasing him is just going to allow Chanimal and Wealthy Man to tear them to shreds. This composition, the Balanced Druid and the Demon Hunter, is looking like it may not work for Method Orange. They still need to stall for another 2 minutes to have that window of time for Samayam to burst down a target.
I think the biggest thing is just this map. I think Super Frogs, they chose a really good composition for this map. The Frostmage Snares paying dividends, really forcing Method Orange to stick on the pillar. I think if this was Dalaran Sewers, this composition would be working way better. They could easily stop all the drinks Cubsy has. He would have been out of mana much sooner. Sea-Doo could have backed up Trill a lot more with the Dispels, but with this map, with how much distance there is, Trill just gets caught in these crowd controls, and Sea-Doo just doesn't have the Dispels, and he did in order to keep him free enough to burn down Cubsy's mana. And now it just seems like as this game goes on, things are looking better and better for the Super Frogs.
Oh, Samayam looked like he wanted to go midfield and make a move, maybe deny Cubsy from drinking with a Starfall, but that couple of seconds, just only a couple of seconds that he spent in midfield, has already cost him a significant amount of his health. There's no Spear Link Totem. Earthen Wall will stabilize, but it's not that powerful against hard-hitting spells like Chaos Bolt. Samayam able to line a sight Chanimal. Chanimal now instead attacking Trill, and this is the thing. Crowd control the Demon Hunter before dampening. You're not going to kill him. He has too much self-healing. Crowd control him. Make sure Cubsy has full mana. Then when you're deep in dampening and that self-healing from the Demon Hunter is weakened, then you can switch your attention and try and kill Trill. The strategy that Super Frogs are employing is definitely the right one. It's just a matter of if it will actually work against what Method Orange have brought here in game number 2. Demonic Gateway placed for Chanimal. Frozen Orb, Cataclysm on one side to try and corner Method Orange and squeak in whatever damage they can. Any amount of damage deep in dampening is important damage.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Becomes really expensive for Sea-Doo to actually heal through. Trill getting caught into the stun. Do they have the damage to take him down? Sea-Doo in panic mode, trying to keep him alive. Ascendance has been popped as he's looking to stabilize his team. One of the last lines of defense there for Method Orange. They're all going to get topped off, looking healthy, but if that happens again, Sea-Doo with no Ascendance is really going to struggle to keep his team afloat.
There's a beautiful grounding totem that would have easily killed Trill in that bash if he was not able to deny the Chaos Bolt. MVP defense goes to Sea-Doo in that moment, but still falling behind. Samayam's in midfield trying to go for a kill on Cubsy, but like I said, the longer he spends out there trying to kill Cubsy, the more punishment and pain he's going to take in exchange. Cubsy able to escape to the opposite side of the map. Sea-Doo locked down in crowd control. Dampening, ramping up to critical mass. I think in this matchup, 45% to 50% is definitely going to be the magic mark for the Super Frogs. Samayam taking heat, tons of damage. Sea-Doo with limited mana left in the tank to keep going. Samayam tries to burst down Wealthy Man in a surprise attack on a solo mission. Ice Block trades equivalently with that. Did he have to cold snap Ice Block? No, he did not. One Ice Block, fair trade for Wealthy Man. They've got another 3 minutes until that incarnation threat, so it's unlikely that Method Orange will survive to that point, so I think it's just an efficient trade for Wealthy Man. Now Wealthy Man is trying to get aggressive, trying to finish the job.
Gets it. He gets the full polymorph on Sea-Doo. Samayam running for his life. Wealthy Man with a nice Ray of Frost. All 3 members from Method Orange once again hiding behind the pillar. Trill moves forward, looking to get some pressure, but Chanimal's running in, looking for the follow-up Fear. Manages to potentially land a Chaos Bolt on Samayam. Sea-Doo struggling to keep him alive, but Wealthy Man also a little bit low. Cubsy has to use the Ironbark to keep him stable. Samayam caught in midfield. Chaos Bolt lands on Samayam. Wealthy Man with a beautiful blink counterspell. Samayam's running for his life behind the pillar. Should be able to survive out of line of sight, but these are getting scarier and scarier for Method Orange, but there's still hope. Wealthy Man with only 1 Ice Block left is going to be increasingly vulnerable as the game goes on.
Infernal's available in 5 seconds. Chanimal, what can you get done with these, as it's likely the last set that you're going to see. You cannot get denied on these Chaos Bolts. Chanimal is relying on this burst window. He's just going to pull the trigger on it and go. He needs to get a Chaos Bolt out here, find a kill with it. They've got a couple of seconds to do so. Is Method Orange just going to retreat is the question. Are they going to disrespect Chanimals? Grounding Totem denies one Chaos Bolt. What's going to deny the next? Chanimal gets bashed, unable to really burst. Infernal's basically shut down at this point. Wealthy Man is slowly rotting. These Infernals definitely not paying off. Maybe one Chaos Bolt. Sneaks in one Chaos Bolt. Big damage on Samayam. Spirit Link Totem still available. Spirit Link Totem on the Polymorph. Breaks C2 out and stabilizes, but Trill was a bit out of position. He's not able to get there to get inside. The health isn't distributed to 3 players. I don't think there's enough health for Samayam. Trill is Frost Nova'd out of range. Metamorphosis. Trill doesn't seem to care about keeping Samayam alive. He's going to try and kill Wealthy Man while Samayam is just barely holding on.
Yep, Trill gets polymorphed in midfield. Is there any follow-up crowd control?
Whoa.
Wealthy Man getting low, might have to ice block. Playing very greedy with those Maledicts, finally, but Samayam low. In the meantime, Chanimal's finding the counter pressure that he needs. Samayam, C2 running away, Cubsy leaps in, gets the bash, but it's Trill in midfield, stuck there. I really feel like Super Frogs, they need to punish Trill a little bit more. Wealthy Man still low. Method Orange looking to push and take down Wealthy Man. He doesn't have any ice block left. This is such a scary moment. Samayam in midfield, very vulnerable. Chanimal's trinkets out. Mortal Coil gets redirected by Trill. Nicely done. Darkness gets dropped out. Samayam in midfield with the Darkness, going to be feeling very safe. Finds the Cyclone onto Wealthy Man, but still Chanimals lands the Fear on C2. Samayam has to survive. Polymorph on Trill. Good control here from the Super Frogs. Cubsy keeping them alive. Samayam trying to escape. I just don't know if C2 has the healing.
I want to see Cubsy just go in cat form. Just go and kill him yourself at this point if he runs at the pillar. Wealthy Man's got Temporal Shield. Just activate that, run in cat form, and kill him. Damn it, 60%. He's just going to fall to Ray of Frost. Wealthy Man closes it out. Chanimal sneaks in and finds a kill. Now up 2-0 in the series against Method Orange.
Qualifying all the way to that top 8. So if you're Method Orange, you really feel like you do need to win this here. You don't want to be dropping down. You do not want to risk it. Super Frogs are going to try to cut all the momentum out of Method Orange sales right here and now on Dollar and Sewers.
And they're going to try and cut it out with Snuts' daggers on that Rogue. Will he be able to be the X factor here in game number 3 and just 3-0 Method Orange? We do see an attack towards Trill. Obviously, you want to avoid attacking Death Knights before dampening, at least when you've got a choice between a Death Knight and a Demon Hunter. Neither are favorable, but the Demon Hunter is the necessary evil here. Chanimal dropping those Infernals, trying to get some counter aggression going for his team. C2 denies it with an Earthen Wall Totem, hitting all 3 members of the team, but Chanimal continues to ramp up. He does not seem to care about the defense that C2 has placed. Looking to build up for a giant Chaos Bolt. We do see Mez saying, all right, I know that this next Chaos Bolt is going to hit huge. I'm just going to put Anti-Magic Zone down now in case I'm crowd controlled and can't use it later. It at least zones that Chaos Bolt out. Doesn't soak up the damage though. Chanimal has been trying to get through the interrupts, just unable to at this point. Good denial by Method Orange early on.
Yeah, Cubsy already sat down and snuck away and got a drink, regenerating his mana. Trill still on the hunt for that blue bar, now caught into a kidney shot. Snuts committing some damage here with one of his Maledicts. Chanimal's really not able to get many casts off, though. I think Trill should be okay. Mez easily shutting him down with the Mind Freeze, but Trill in midfield could still be in a little bit of trouble as he looks to find another Mana Rift on Cubsy out of that imprisonment. Does manage to sneak it in, and now Cubsy's mana already on 70%. We're not even close to dampening, and if Method Orange can keep this up, things are going to be looking good for them.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, they've set themselves up for success here. I was surprised to see them go with Ashamane's Fall. They were probably just trying to take a big map away from the Super Frogs, but they definitely didn't expect that Fear Polymorph, control Trill for the entire game strategy, and then look for a burst kill in dampening. So that got stolen away from them, and now they're against the wall. They need to win 3 games in a row, and I'm starting to think that it's pretty unlikely that they're going to. I really expect that Method Orange are going down to the lower bracket, maybe not in this game specifically, but the next afterwards, assuming that the Super Frogs set themselves up for success, going something like Runes of Lordaeron, not because I want to say my catchphrase, but because there's a lot of open field for 2 Destruction Warlocks, which I can imagine is what they are looking to lock in if Method Orange decide to try and use this composition again blind. So maybe Method Orange have to win with the Demon Hunter Boomkin for the rest of the series blind. Even that I'm not so certain in. It's definitely not 100%. Right now there is decent pressure for Super Frogs with 2 members of Method Orange down at about half health. C2 has cooldowns to trade to bounce them back, but he is trying his best to hold onto them as long as possible.
Cubsy once again sneaking away, trying to look for a drink, but I think Seedu's been doing a good job of shutting that down. I think Snuts is actually playing the Flying Daggers build, so he's been able to put out tremendous amounts of damage onto Trill and Mez, sort of taxing Seedu's mana and forcing him to come back and heal instead of just full-time chase down Cubsy. Cubsy now in line of sight. Trill manages to find the double stun into a mana rift. A lot of the healers are now opting into Relentless against Demon Hunters. It makes it a little bit more difficult for them to land these mana rifts. They have to commit more. It's either the Imprisonment or they have to use double stuns. They can no longer just use one stun with the Relentless. They have enough time to escape. Full blind now onto Seedu. Trill taking some damage. Seedu actually trinketed out of that. I think it was actually diminishing return blind, but I think for Seedu it's a worthwhile trade. He doesn't want to get caught in a situation where he doesn't have his trinket for the next blind, as that's going to be a big opportunity for Super Frogs to actually close out the game. In addition, he doesn't want to fall behind. Cubsy right now, way behind on mana, so Method Orange definitely has that going in their favor. But Trill getting swapped to. Can they take him down? Trill getting lower and lower, caught in the Growth Silence. Darkness gets dropped out. He's hanging on by a thread. I-Beam, he gets interrupted instantaneously. Still a Cyclone on to Seedu. He gets the Spirit Link off. Method Orange stabilized, but that was a clean setup from Super Frogs.
Yeah, Snuts is playing the Flying Daggers build, but he's playing all-out Fan of Knives. He's running the Hidden Blades normal talent, which increases the damage, stacking up 20%, up to a huge amount of increases, stacks up to 20 times. Then he's running the Azurite traits with Echoing Blades for even further increased Fan of Knives damage, realizing on a small map that Mez, Trill, and Seedu will be looking to duck for cover around the boxes. It's more likely that they will stand next to each other, and if there's 3 targets standing next to each other, Flying Daggers then increases the damage of Fan of Knives 50% more, and perhaps Snuts' Fan of Knives build could be the way for Super Frogs to overcome this map disadvantage, effectively countering Chanimal on that Destruction Warlock. This build is something that Nesper pioneered at the start of the season, but now other players are starting to pick it up as well. So far, it's not looking too good, as Cubsy's basically tapped on mana and unlikely to find anywhere to drink, so it's up to the Super Frogs to find a kill before Cubsy is totally tapped.
I don't know if they really have the cooldowns to do so. Mez has committed quite a bit, but he still has the anti-magic zone if he needs it. Trill with no darkness available. Mez is going to be increasingly vulnerable, but Chanimal's actually taking a lot of pressure, forced to trade out the Unending Resolve, and this is where Method Orange is going to start developing a lot of pressure. Things are going to start snowballing for them, as Cubsy has no mana left in the tank, and going for drinks is just going to leave Chanimal and Snuts very vulnerable, but a full kidney shot committed onto Mez. Shadow Fury onto Seedu. Can they take Mez down? Trill gets caught into the blind. Snuts doing everything he can to buy Cubsy some time, but Trill not afraid to just instantaneously trinket out of that blind, keep Cubsy in combat, and keep the lead that they have.
All right, Seedu's got a massive lead here. They're on match point. They have to win this if they want to stay in the upper bracket. Otherwise, they're going down to the lower bracket, and they're fighting the boys, and I really wouldn't want to be facing the boys, at least not as I could avoid them as long as possible. But Super Frog's surprise double Destruction Warlock composition, I think, caught Method Orange off guard, and potentially could be the composition that allows the Super Frogs to take the entire tournament. Who would have thought that Chanimals and Snuts playing Warlock together on the same team could be the best choice for them overall to overcome this entire tournament? But now Chanimal is against the wall with Dampening kicking in and no mana left on Cubsy. I'm not sure how much longer he's going to be able to stay alive. They try to set up for a kill with a Fear onto Seedu. Do they have enough damage to take down Mez? Cubsy keeps the chain going. Chaos Bolt snuck in, able to connect onto Mez. In a bit of trouble here. No cooldowns for 17 seconds if they can keep up the momentum. Seedu looks for a heal. Ancestral Spirit able to get that. Gets smoke bombed on the end of the heal. Then tries to sneak in, catching a big healing wave. If Seedu gets interrupted in this next 10-second period of time, they're going to drop Infernals. Big Chaos Bolts coming. Cataclysm. Chanimal is free casting. You cannot leave Chanimal free casting that many spells in a row. Kidney shot. Here comes the attempt. They have to kill Mez here and now, and Seedu knows it. He denies it, dropping a Spirit Link Totem. Pops Ascendance to heal his team up. Will it be enough is the question. He's running that Pack Spirit Azurite trait, so he's using Ghost Wolf and Ascendance together to heal his whole team effectively for free, but they're still not out of the woods. Mez is still very low on health, and Chanimal may have an opportunity to just close this series out.
Yeah, Mez low, caught into the kidney shot, bash onto Seedu. Is there any follow-up crowd control? Mez is low, he has the anti-magic shell, he needs to use it. Does manage to get it off before the Chaos Bolt lands from Chanimal. Super Frog's still in this, but Method Orange is looking pretty good as long as they can hold on just a little little bit longer. I think Chanimals will ultimately fall, but Superfrogs has been doing such a great job. Mez is just taking so much pressure. This is unbelievable. Full Fear snuck onto Sea-Doo. He doesn't have any healing to recover. Mez into the kidney shot, doesn't want to trade out the guy's found Fortitude. Eventually does, but a Chaos Bolt lands. Mez trying to keep himself alive. Fear now onto Sea-Doo. Chanimals gets stunned up, doesn't have the damage to potentially close out. Sea-Doo holding on by a thread. Cubsy sneaking away. If he gets a drink here, this is so massive for Superfrogs. I think he may have done it. He got some mana. Sea-Doo caught into the Mortal Coil. Mez still low. Snut's trying to put out as much pressure as possible. If they can take down Mez, this is going to be unbelievable.
I mean, they're pretty close to being able to do it. Sea-Doo's basically tapped. Chanimal has any resolve. He can activate that and 3 cast Chaos Bolts. I think he may just have to go for that play, even though it's high risk. It might be high reward. He spell locks Sea-Doo on cast. Cubsy gets the chain. He keeps it going. Mez is likely to fall as Snuts looks to close it out. Just the tiniest bit more. He's done it. He's taken him out. Trill looks to try and counter-aggress, but with both defensive cooldowns and drain life, Chanimal, are you going to go down? They're so close to 3-0ing Method Orange. It's so hard to believe that they did it off the back of a double destruction Warlock, but they've done it. Superfrogs advance 3-0.
Drew, but
you know what? The only person that matters is Sea-Doo believing in Sea-Drew.
I agree.
I
it's
think
not a full-on mirror, though.
I believe in Sea-Drew, and they're going to be once again going with Trill on that Demon Hunter. They're going to be looking for a mana advantage. Once again, hyper-aggressive plays here coming in from the boys as Gorecki charges in, gets the race done, Cyclone onto Sea-Doo. Mez already completely on the back foot. We've seen him go down very early on against Chun-Li and Spexen before. Are they going to be able to take him down, Sid?
Iron Bark trade by Sea-Doo at the end of that crowd control chain should be enough for Mez to stabilize. Smexen now getting counter-aggressed, and of course Trill is going to be targeting Gorecki on that healer, likely start to finish, looking for as many mana rifts as possible. Obviously the Demon Hunter brings good sustain, it gives good late game advantage, but the Windwalker definitely brings a lot more punch, and with that Mortal Wounds effect, the 25% healing reduction becomes very effective in dampening and killing the Death Knight. So the boys definitely still have opportunities there, but they need to make it into dampening with Gorecki having mana. If they can't make it into dampening with Gorecki having mana, then they're going to get overwhelmed and they're going to get swarmed. So far, Gorecki has a decent lead actually over Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo trying to cross the map, gets intercepted with crowd control. Trill trying to run down Gorecki. Mez maybe even trying to give some attention to Gorecki as well, at least sending his ghoul along with Trill to chase him down. Gorecki running Feral Affinity is a lot more vulnerable to damage if they can stay on target. Gorecki needs to try and get control of Trill, trying to use Cyclone, but Trill line of sights it at the pillar. Gorecki realizes that's not going to work, so he moves back into center field to secure a Cyclone, and Trill was unable to dodge. Good repositioning from Gorecki. Sea-Doo now getting hunted a bit. Pressure's on.
Yeah, definitely. Sea-Doo could be in some trouble. He still has Trinket and Iron Bark. There's a little bit of backup there by Mez, trying to keep the snares up on Smexen and Chun-Li. Sea-Doo leaping away, but Smexen's still all over him. Sea-Doo responds with the Thorns, trying to get Smexen to back up just a little bit. Mez with really good backup. Grip onto Chun-Li, Chains of Ice, as well as the Asphyxiate's done. That buys Sea-Doo more than enough time to stabilize, but mana for both of these healers is relatively equal.
Yeah, mana is evening out. Ooh, Imprison on Innervate. Gorecki, that's going to hurt his efficiency. Mana Rift timed out as well. That's just burning the lead now in favor of Method Orange, but not nearly as significant of a lead as I was really expecting. And the boys definitely bring a ton of damage, maybe the highest damage of any melee cleave that we see in tournaments. Maybe the Pumpers could go toe-to-toe, but big damage on Trill. He trades out Blur, that reduces damage and allows him to dodge some attacks, but even still very low on health, having now used Iron Bark on top of it. Mana is in favor of the boys, despite Trill bringing in that Mana Rift. Pressure is in favor of the boys, and for all the folks in chat that bet for the boys, I'm starting to think that you guys are right.
Well, maybe. Sea-Doo caught into a Cyclone. He still has his Trinket, Mez, and Trill. A little bit vulnerable in this situation. Chun-Li has been most of the pressure point for the boys in this matchup. Method Orange have been targeting him down relentlessly, but he still has most of his defensives. So he's going to be feeling quite healthy. Trill still trying to chase down Gorecki, but with that Bash Cyclone, Gorecki should be managed to escape just a little bit. If he can re-stealth here, it's really going to be up to Mez to make sure he can shut down that drink. In the meantime, Chun-Li and Smexen looking for some pressure onto Sea-Doo. Got caught out of form, forced to Trinket and leap away. but he managed to hold on to his bark skin, his iron bark, and with that mass entanglement, you can see Smexen and Chun-Li just stuck in place.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a healer race and you're playing Feral Affinity, you're going to be really weak, and Gorecki is already just starting to feel that pain. Finally able to punish that build. Let's see if Trill can time the Mana Rift at the end of this Imprison. Hits it, burns more mana away, but it's actually still even, which is really surprising at this point. We're not even into Destiny. Let's see if Gorecki can escape using Thorns, snaring up Trill, and reflecting some damage to him as well. Gorecki with that Feral Affinity, another bonus on top of just being able to go in Cat Form, stun, and do damage is that he gets to move extra fast. He actually moves faster than a Demon Hunter in travel form, so Gorecki's main mode of transportation is that travel form to avoid the attacks of Trill as much as possible. Line of sight, drop, combat, re-stealth, and then look for a stun into a Cyclone, something along those lines. And in the meantime, it seems like the boys want to try and gun down Sidu, but I don't think they're going to win that race. Instead, now switching their attention to Chun-Li. He's got Fortified Brew, Iron Bark. He's likely to survive. Well-timed Ursul's Vortex there, pulling away at least one gap closer from Chun-Li. Fist of Fury now denying any sort of reconnect from Mez. Chun-Li still low on health. Mana even on both sides here in game number 1. We're in a best-of-5 series. One of these teams is going to be going home.
Yeah, Mez lower. Are they going to be able to take him down? Sidu has to respond appropriately. Mez's self-heal should be enough to stay alive. Sidu throwing in some heal over time effects as well, but in the meantime, Gorecki's the one that is in trouble. Mana Rift landing once again. Can Trill just solo Gorecki at this point in the match? He has no mana left. Chun-Li increasingly vulnerable as well. Gorecki trying to create some space and get away, but Trill has just been hunting him down. Now swapping over onto Chun-Li. He's got a few buttons to survive. Trill drops out the darkness to assist Sidu. Chun-Li gets some heals on himself. Touch of Karma now available. He's going to be feeling relatively safe, but Gorecki with no mana left. Trill and Mez, they're looking to close out this game.
Yeah, that Feral Affinity finally being punished here by Method Orange as they try and take Gorecki down. Sidu on top of Gorecki, trying to Ursul's Vortex him back in line of sight, but they're just struggling to connect. One Maledict does move in.
Sidu's trying to
kill him in bear form. Maybe Sidu could just smack him down. Fist of Fury, Gorecki refuses to die. Even 0 mana left in the tank. Holds on by a thread, now caught into another stun. This Mana Rift just surely gonna close the game as Gorecki's totally tapped. KO, Method Orange take game 1.
Well played by Method Orange, and I feel like we've had so many firsts this tournament. We had some...
Sidu to choke on Druid. Other than that, I don't think this composition was a smart pick on their part. They already got to see it earlier in the day with the way that it played with ABC against Method Black, and it didn't work at all, so I'm just not sure if it's going to here. Maybe Gorecki as an X Factor. Perhaps he's playing Feral Affinity, and he can add in some extra damage. That's really the only differences I see in terms of play of any significance. Thugonomics already heavily behind. Look at that Necrotic Strike. Huge absorption of all incoming healing applied by Smexen very early on. Gorecki's going to have to tax a ton of mana potentially to heal that through. Likely looking to use Innervate here soon in terms of efficiency. Deciding not to just yet, but the pressure is still mounting.
Yeah, a lot of damage here on Thugonomics. Gorecki not able to really afford to sit down, re-stealth, and go for a drink. Thugonomics looking to counter pressure Trill just a little bit, but he's going to be able to shrug off most of his damage in Metamorphosis, just be able to heal himself up as long as he's doing consistent damage. I think he should be able to survive, but kind of caught in midfield right now. Gorecki looking for a drink, Sidu trying to chase him down and keep him in combat, but Smexen manages to find a Hex. Trill now caught into a Mortal Coil with Mez. Good pressure here from the boys onto Trill, but not enough damage to force Trill and Mez to play defensive just yet in the game. Sidu's done his job keeping Gorecki in combat, but Gorecki now still trying to get out of line of sight, trying to get out of combat. And Mez with this fire beam, he has his pet parked on one side of the pillar, basically sawing everyone in half and keeping Gorecki in combat.
All right, Gorecki is running that Feral Affinity, and we saw Trill punish it in game number 1. I can only imagine that's what he's going to want to do here in game number 2, but when paired up with an Elemental Shaman and a Destruction Warlock, if they leave those classes open to free cast, it could be punishment. Thugonomics gets 1 Chaos Bolt on Trill. He's going to duck around the corner, catch a couple of heals from Sidu, and then get back into the fight. Thugonomics is looking to ramp up. We've seen a lot of Destruction Warlock, but we have not gotten to see a lot of Thugonomics. Perhaps he can bring some of that experience. He's been playing it for certainly the longest on Destruction Warlock. I feel like he goes all the way back to when Arena even began. So Thugonomics would be the most experienced Destruction Warlock in the competition. Already building up tons of pressure here onto Mez. Good coordination with Smexen, netting them powerful defensive cooldowns and building themselves potential.
Yep, Thugonomics has definitely been playing Destro since the dawn of time. Even I, old man, used to play against him in arena tournaments. Definitely just holding it down on that Destruction Warlock for a very long time. The only other thing I've really seen Thugonomics play often is the Demon Hunter. Those are the two things he primarily focuses on. And when Destruction Warlocks are good, he is a nightmare to play against. A very experienced tournament player. Gorecki now caught into a stun. Barkskin was forced out. This is good pressure. Triple Maledict coming in from Method Orange as they're looking to take down Gorecki. Trill, though, getting counter aggression. Forced to play a little bit defensive here. Blur has already been used. Needs to be careful. Sea-Doo trying to pick him up as they continue the pressure on the Thugonomics, but if you allow Thugonomics to just do his thing, that is a very dangerous move. Method Orange in a good position, though. Gorecki has to be careful. He's running behind the pillar, getting caught in stuns, and if Mez and Trill and Sea-Doo can all do damage to him during those moments out of line of sight of Thugonomics and Smexen, there's not too much the boys are going to be able to do to help Gorecki out.
Gorecki running that Feral Affinity to get bonus movement speed to kite, sneak away, and maybe get away for drinks. Sea-Doo now getting counter-aggressed and caught. Forced to use Glidier's Medallion. Still taking huge pain. Able to retreat and recover. What I was trying to say there before Sea-Doo almost went down was that Gorecki's Feral Affinity is almost a bit of a bait. He is obviously the priority target because he does not have Guardian Affinity to reduce damage or Frenzied Regeneration to recover from big burst. But if they're chasing Gorecki out in the open, then Thugonomics and Smexen are just going to kill them. They can't spend that much time chasing him, and he can get away with it. And then later on, if they ignore Gorecki, he just drinks to full mana. He can re-stealth and stun up players and then look for kills. And I do think that Feral Affinity has been what has enabled Gorecki victory time and time again. Definitely good usage of it. Now he's just chasing Sea-Doo around in cat form, attacking him a tad bit, maybe looking for a Cyclone. Cycloning Sea-Doo, Trill the target. Where is Trill gonna go? Apparently just straight for Gorecki again, trying to get as many mana rifts as possible, but Gorecki did manage to sit down for a drink and regenerate mana. And as long as Gorecki can keep this up, I do actually think that boys may be able to overcome this.
Yeah, definitely a possibility here, and this is the kind of flexibility we wanted to see from the boys. So far during this tournament season, we really only see them run that Windwalker Death Knight setup. I think having this as an answer gives them a ton of flexibility in these different competitions, especially going up against a team like Method Orange. We want to see that diversity from these rosters, and this is definitely a good showing here for the boys. Double Mortal Coil once again coming in as Trill gets a Lightning Lasso outside of that anti-magic zone, getting no value, huge damage. Thugonomics pulls the trigger on his Unending Resolve Dark Soul, really not afraid to get aggressive here in this match. Will it pay off is the question.
That's the thing, with that much experience, Thugonomics can try and gauge the risk versus reward, but in that case, the reward was certainly not worth the risk, and now Thugonomics will be behind. Gorecki needs to try and stabilize that loss of defense. Fortunately, we're not that deep into dampening, so Thugonomics is likely to recover to see that Unending Resolve again. So taking that risk this early on isn't totally going to end the match for their team, but it is going to make it annoying for Gorecki to accomplish the things that he's trying to do with moving around so frequently. In the meantime, Cyclone Chain onto Sea-Doo nets them a Darkness. Now a Cyclone on Trill, and Gorecki is easily the best aggressive druid in the game right now with both Feral Affinity and Cyclone usage. Sea-Doo's been getting caught in too many hexes. This is now the second hex, and with no defensive cooldowns for Trill, deeper into dampening, a move like that is going to lose them the game.
Yeah, maybe just now. Trill's still low. Sea-Doo trying to play catch up. Trill getting destroyed. Gladiator Safeguard procs. They're spending a lot of time on Gorecki. They might be able to take him down. He's on top of the gateway. Gorecki manages to sneak away, but Trill in hot pursuit, chasing him around this pillar. Gorecki needs to get into the open once again. Smexen and Thugonomics need to be able to cast to generate the counter pressure that they need. You can see Mez is kind of stuck in the open, forced to grip Thugonomics on that Chaos Bolt. He's been taking too much damage. Lightning Lasso on Mez. There's a pounce on Sea-Doo. If Gorecki can get the full Cyclone, Mez could definitely be in some trouble. Basically forced to use every single defensive cooldown he has available.
Gorecki trying to Entangling Root and then hibernate Sea-Doo when he shapeshifts into form. Top level druid play there, but Sea-Doo isn't getting caught. Now Thugonomics falls behind. Sea-Doo secures crowd control onto Gorecki, although he was able to pre-Iron Bark, soaking up all of the damage, and that risk that Thugonomics took earlier, that chance for Method Orange to kill him, is slowly slipping away with 50 more seconds away on that Unending Resolve. Thugonomics is, I believe, looking stable. Finally catching some Chaos Bolts here, trying to force Trill off of his back. Gorecki looking for Hibernate. Sea-Doo dodges it. They go for a Cyclone. Mez denies it. Good teamwork on the side of Method Orange, but Lightning Lasso and Chaos Bolt might just be enough to take Trill down. He needs a ton of healing. He needs it now. Big Earth Shock. Trill almost getting knocked down here in game number 2. The boys look strong. Gorecki's strategies look good. He's got a huge lead established, but moving on to a smaller map, does this same strategy work is the question. They still haven't even won this game. I'm not sold yet.
Yeah, I'm definitely not sold either, but things are looking reasonably good for the boys. Method Orange still not out of it yet, but Gorecki with such a huge mana lead. We normally see Method Orange close out games by ooming or getting the enemy healer out of mana in a match, but they haven't been able to do so far. Right now, Smexen and Thugonomics really bullying Trill as he tries to chase down Gorecki. This is similar to the double destruction Warlock composition we've seen. You really need 2 spellcasters that can punish the enemy team when you have a Demon Hunter just running at your Druid the entire game, and they've been able to do it. Big setup here on Trill. He trinkets out. He's trying to avoid some of this damage. Sea-Doo caught into the Lightning Lasso. Mez forced to use the anti-magic zone. Thugonomics once again. He is not afraid to get aggressive with that unending resolve. He is confident in his ability to tank damage. Sea-Doo caught into a full hex. Trill could be in some trouble, but this may backfire on Thugonomics.
All right, another crowd control by Gorecki, but Sea-Doo reverses it. Now Thugonomics is in trouble. He's been taking a lot of risks here in game number 2, and it may be an opening for Method Orange to get a kill. Thugonomics securing that demonic gateway, trying to escape to center field, bait his opponents into midfield for Smexen to rain down Lava Burst, but now getting stunned, unable to connect, and Trill has shifted his strategy instead, mana rifting for damage onto Thugonomics to just try and kill him here deep in dampening. There's no defense left. Thugonomics on the run. Gorecki instead tries to go for crowd control. Will he get the Cyclone? He's not able to get the Cyclone. Sea-Doo now connects the heals. Gorecki is now the one who is behind heavily, with Thugonomics barely holding on. All of the risks that he's taken are ultimately going to cost him the game here in game number 2, I do believe. There's so much damage as Mez leads the charge. Smexen doing whatever he can with a couple of healing surges and hexes tossed out to try and slow down the pace to give Gorecki more room to breathe, but still just faltering. Imprisoned, now secured. Thugonomics in desperation, spamming Drain Life, fake cast the interrupt, but now gets bashed. I don't think he's going to be able to make it out alive. Smexen and Gorecki both tunneling as many heals as they can, but it will not be enough. Method Orange move to match point.
That they do. Thugonomics being so bold with his unending. Well played so far by the boys, but this could be the last map that we do see from them. They're getting barbecued by the people on the desk and Method Orange in the arena, except for Ven. He's a nice guy.
Ben Rookie wouldn't barbecue a fly.
Yeah,
He's vegan.
that's actually right. I wouldn't. All right, here we go. Sea-Doo caught into the Incapacitate, and this is what I was afraid of for him. Chun-Li looking to get really aggressive. Stormrage and Fire's already been used. There's a full leg sweep. A lot of damage on Sea-Doo. Safeguard has been procced. He's used Barkskin and Iron Bark. The only thing he has left is his Trinket. Trill might have to drop out of darkness to keep him alive if they can continue the assault, but it just doesn't look like they're able to.
Mez gets knocked downstairs. They switch their attention to him, looking to pull even more cooldowns. Will they find it? Mez needs to be careful. Sea-Doo's in crowd control. Gorecki gets the Cyclone. Mez is refusing to make a trade, disrespecting the damage here in game number 3. He's incredibly far ahead in the series, but the pressure is still mounting. The boys are all over the place. Sea-Doo is starting to struggle to recover. Tranquility to apply an extra heal over time effect, trying to boost that healing through his mastery, but even still, I've never seen a Death Knight take this much damage in the tournament setting. Mez is still just barely clinging to life. If they can connect, maybe they take out, they stun Chun-Li, they stall it out. Gorecki moves in, stuns the heal. Is he gonna get the Cyclone? Gorecki goes for it, he gets gripped on it by Mez.
Beautifully done by Mez, denying that crowd control chain. Now an imprisonment onto Gorecki. Mez still low. Double leg sweep onto Sea-Doo, onto Mez. Mez breaks out with his Trinket, trying to survive desperately with his death strikes as much as he can. Tons of pressure here for the boys. In terms of mana, they have a massive lead. This aggressive strategy seems to be working out quite nicely for the boys.
Still want to see death grips into double leg sweep. Sea-Doo with a nice fake cast there. Now Chun-Li rolls over and Spearhand strikes him. Ring of Peace downstairs. Chun-Li trying to carry. Smexen follows up with a stun. Gorecki chains that into a Cyclone. Crowd control chain basically perfect, but Death Strike more than enough for Mez to survive.
Yep, and Trill had a really nice Chaos Nova there. Chun-Li was trying to get aggressive with his Fists of Fury. That's going to be one of the hardest hitting abilities a Windwalker Monk has. Trill knows that, instantly shut it down with the Chaos Nova, limiting the amount of pressure that they really have on Mez. And ever since the beginning moments of the game, Mez seems to be doing quite fine in terms of health. And as soon as I say that, he starts getting low. Pounce stun once again onto Sea-Doo into a paralysis by Chun-Li. Can they continue the pressure? Mez manages to stabilize. He is now completely full. He's looking healthy. And I don't know, Sid, do you think they should continue this pressure onto Mez? It doesn't seem to be working any longer.
I think deeper into dampening it will. Maybe they're just feeling like, hey, we got really close to killing him. We got his Icebound Fortitude at this point. It's maybe sunken cost fallacy. They just feel like they have to keep going after Mez. Both Druids caught in stuns, although Trill is trying to go after Gorecki. Gorecki trades Barkskin to just try and be efficient. Gorecki isn't looking to try and make effective trades. He's looking to make efficient trades and maximize his mana to try and outdo Sea-Doo, his Druid counterpart here. They're on match point. If Method Orange can take this, they will advance to the finals for a rematch against the Super Frogs, where potentially some destruction, double destruction derby will be available for them. I'm very curious to see how that plays out if the Super Frogs even go in with it blind. Chun-Li, though, now getting bursted. They're on match point. Has Touch of Karma, refusing to make the trade, even at 15% health remaining. Chun-Li holds on to it for a later date.
Yep, Chun-Li will be able to survive with the Turbo Fist, Fists of Fury, preventing a lot of that damage. There's a full Cyclone secured by Gorecki. Trill trying to just completely shut down Gorecki, burn him out of mana, and his mana is not doing well. Finally in this matchup, Method Orange does have the mana advantage. Chun-Li with a lot of cooldowns, not necessarily the greatest target right now, but once Gorecki's I think Chun-Li could potentially eventually fall. There's good defense here by the boys, really slowing down Trill's push onto Gorecki as he's looking to sit down for a drink. Both Druids are. Sea-Doo might not get shut down, though. I think he's actually going to be able to regen a decent amount of mana.
I don't know why, but watching both Abominations just walking behind each other made me think of like a ghoulish conga line. They're trying to chase down their targets and kill them, but they're just getting kited and unable to attack. Mana even at this point, but that isn't where you want to be if you're Method Orange with this mana rift strategy. You do want to be significantly ahead, so potential for the boys in this fight to stay in the series in the lower bracket. Sea-Doo gets caught. The boys go for the aggressive strategy. It's do or die. Take down Sea-Doo or go home. Do they have enough damage to do it? Iron Bark appears to be enough for Sea-Doo to hold on with that bear form, but they're still giving chase.
Yep, Sea-Doo, no trinket. He does have Barkskin. The next stun could be scary, but he did manage to hold on to a little bit of his defensive cooldowns. And Trill, of course, he still has his trinket and darkness. That's going to be very important if they do find an all-in. In the meantime, Gorecki getting taken down. Trill and Mez looking to close out this game and clean sweep the boys. Gorecki barely hanging on for dear life with Barkskin and Ironbark as he's looking to make an escape. Will he be able to do it?
Sea-Doo just smacking Gorecki as he walks by to try and take him out. Somehow Gorecki's still alive. Mez now getting counter-pressured. Icebound Fortitude forced to be trade on his part. That's a powerful cooldown, but he doesn't seem to care. It's time to take Gorecki out here. Method Orange want to go to that finals. They want a first place finish, and Gorecki is really the last thing standing in their way as he's trying to kite, but there's no mana left in the tank. Mez and Trill both get caught in a leg sweep. Chun-Li peeling for days. Gorecki gets innervate. He gets a couple free heals. He's trying to sneak away from the fight, maybe sit down for a drink. Chun-Li will gladly trade Touch of Karma for mana on Gorecki, but I don't think that he's ultimately gonna find it. With the Demon Sight that Trill has, he can just immediately stop it. Now with crowd control on Gorecki, Chun-Li is alone, caught into a fell eruption, tons of damage. Will Ironbark be enough here at 7% Tampany with no mana left in the tank? Looks like it might be, as Gorecki and Chun-Li both kite away to stay alive in the tournament.
Yeah, but Chun-Li with no Touch of Karma for another minute and not playing Fortifying Brew. He's a relatively squishy target here for Trill and Mez to try to take down. Another all-in attempt onto Sea-Doo. Nicely done by Sea-Doo in bear form with Barkskin. He's fine. Going to be able to tank through this damage, I assume. Now trying to get away once again. Might need darkness from Trill. I don't know if he has it in him to stabilize himself at this point with Smexon still all over him. Chun-Li trying to chase him down, but Mez making it really difficult, backing up Sea-Doo with the chains of ice spam onto Chun-Li. Sea-Doo still trying to kite away, potentially could be forced to use the Iron Bark, and he does. Will he hold on to his trinket? No, he doesn't want to mess around. He wants the bonus healing from that Iron Bark, but Sea-Doo still in a lot of trouble. Rake stun comes in from Gorecki. The boys looking to claim game number 3 and stay in this tournament. Sea-Doo getting lower, and I don't think he's going to be able to survive. He just doesn't have any healing left. Runs out of the dark. I think he actually got gripped out of the darkness, unfortunately, but there could be a cross kill here, Sid.
I think it's unlikely as Chun-Li transcendences to safety. The all-in on Sea-Doo works. It's all or nothing, and the boys managed to pull it off. Can they do it 2 more times?
Can the boys get a reverse sweep? Method Orange isn't going to be able to get to 3-0. The boys have their opening, but you could see that was still a very close now open.
That joke is never gonna get old, just like the fitted final resting place.
Fitting final resting place.
Fitting final resting point.
All right, Sea-Doo into the incapacitate. What are they going to do? I was a little bit scared for Sea-Doo on this map. He actually trinkets out. He really respecting the touch of death. He was in bear form. He was pretty healthy there, but he opts to trinket, use the Iron Bark, trying to avoid an all-in here from Smexen, Chun-Li, and Gorecki. It looks like Mez and Trail, they're looking for their own all-in onto Gorecki. Which one of these druids is going to fall first?
Yeah, it's going to be a healer race here, and the boys are still on match points, so the pressure is on. Will the Feral Affinity be enough for Gorecki to be able to escape here on hook point? I think he should have considered opting out of it on this small map, as it is likely still a healer race. Sea-Doo now losing that race, very low on health. Trill tries to reconvene with him, potentially to trade darkness. Sea-Doo tries to kite, gets gripped back into the fight. Trill protects him with a double stun, trying to slow down this fire from igniting. Will it be enough? Chun-Li now trades Touch of Karma to go all in and aggressive. In the meantime, Method Orange shifts some attention to Gorecki as well. 2 members on the team, but the boys are dangerously low. We're not even into dampening at this point, but they are heavily far behind.
Yeah, Gorecki moves in, looking for some damage onto Sea-Doo, manages to find the Cyclone, but Sea-Doo should be completely fine. Gorecki's doing quite well on mana. He's actually ahead of Sea-Doo at this point. Trill hasn't had the time or the opportunity to really get those consistent mana rests we've seen from him. Chun-Li getting targeted down once again, and I think it could potentially be a mistake for them to be on Chun-Li this long. If he's kiting well, Karma's coming up in 50 seconds. I think he should be able to survive, and Sea-Doo is becoming increasingly more vulnerable, although he does have Barkskin rotating back up as well as the Iron Bark. He has the Trinket for the Touch of Death, and I think that's really what Sea-Doo wants to do. He wants to line up his Trinket with the Touch of Death. That should be, in theory, the scariest moment for him in this match.
Sea-Doo getting stunned up by Gorecki, trying to support the team and allow them to reconnect, but with that Feral Affinity, he's vulnerable. Trill wants to take advantage of that, gunning him down here on hook point. Could definitely be a quick finish to this series if the boys make even one mistake. It will be their tournament lives on the line. Sea-Doo doing a good job rotating through defense at this point and keeping up counter aggression on Chun-Li. Gorecki goes for a re-stealth while Chun-Li is getting blasted. Able to come back in the fight and trade Iron Bark just in the nick of time to stabilize. Sea-Doo now gets cycloned up by Gorecki. The boys go after a different target, that being Mez, but I think it's unlikely they stay on him for very long, at least not before dampening. They're spending quite a bit of damage on him. Chun-Li gets Maledicts committed to him. He's in a bit of danger. They grip Sea-Doo in for a double stun. Trades Barkskin as he is not in bear form, does not want to fall behind, but Gorecki then follows up with another stun. This Feral Affinity aggressively is paying its weight in gold for Gorecki. Even though it's a risky decision, it's definitely one that has paid off in the past. Will it keep paying off is now the question.
Yeah, Sea-Doo, he did get the darkness there by Trill, but it was denied by Chun-Li instantly with that Ring of Peace, that zone denial. Really excellently done by Chun-Li. Now Chun-Li caught into the stun. Good pressure here from Mez as he's looking to take down Chun-Li and really limit his capability offensively onto Sea-Doo. And it's been working out quite well so far. If Mez can grip Chun-Li on his Fists of Fury, keep up Chains of Ice the entire game, ultimately I feel like Sea-Doo should be able to kite away. Really, the only opportunity for the boys is they need to take down Sea-Doo in stun locks. And outside of those stuns, I think Sea-Doo's going to be able to get away. Here's an innervate from Sea-Doo, looking to top off Mez. Gorecki potentially looking for a drink. Did he find anything? No, he did not. Now Method Orange secure a mana lead. Yeah, that mana lead could be critical here to their victory to get a rematch against the Super Frogs in the grand finals of the North American region. A lot of points on the line to qualify to the spring finals, as well as a crew to qualify to potentially the World Championship. Sea-Doo is getting crushed under the weight of the boys here in game number 4, and we are going to a game number 5. Method Orange now face elimination.
Holy guacamole. Ticket straight to homeland.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's match point, game 5 here in the lower bracket finals. Who will advance to face the Super Frogs to claim the title of King of Spring Cup number 3? We will be finding out momentarily. Gurecki getting gripped into the fight. Triple stun secured for Method Orange. Definitely a good start.
Not a bad start at all. Looks like Gurecki's going to be taking most of the damage, and this is the positioning we wanted to see from Sea-Doo. He's far away. He's just playing it safe, making it difficult for Chun-Li, for Smexen to find these swaps that we saw on Dalaran Sewers and Hook Point. I think on this map, Method Orange definitely should be looking good.
All right, can they do it is the question. They were up 2-0. They basically had this series in the bag, but the boys managed to battle it back and now bring it to a game 5. The tension is rising. Everything on the line here. Both these teams, the boys looking to continue their first place in terms of point earnings. Method Orange looking to overthrow the ladder and have a better seeding moving forward to qualify for the spring finals. Trill getting rooted up, Gurecki on the run. Looking to try and get a re-stealth here very shortly and then go for some stuns, I can only imagine. Trill jumping across the battlefield. That double jump definitely paying off as he's able to climb up those balconies without needing to go around them. In the meantime, Sea-Doo getting gripped into the fight as the boys want to go after the healer. Ring of Peace mistimed by about 1 second and Sea-Doo is able to escape.
Yep, Sea-Doo manages to get away, and this is what I'm talking about. Now Sea-Doo has so much freedom to get away. Gurecki, he can't escape from a Demon Hunter. Trill is all over him in this matchup. Chun-Li and Smexen, they're forced onto Mez, which is not exactly the best target. Pre-dampening Mez is going to be very effective at keeping himself alive. Another grip asphyxiate on Sea-Doo. Gets a little scary in these stuns, but if Sea-Doo can manage to hop away, get out of line of sight, Mez can use his Death Grip as well as Chains of Ice to really limit Chun-Li's capability of sticking on him.
All right, let's see what Sea-Doo can do. A lot on him right now. Gurecki getting gunned down in the back line. Will he just fall? He's trying to cut. He gets gripped back into the fight. He's running that Feral Affinity. He's got no real defense. They're both just staying right on top of him. If Mez and Trill can keep gunning this down, they may be able to net a kill. Sea-Doo has to deal with pretty equivalent pressure on the opposite side, but he's got Guardian Affinity to beef himself up. But even still with the Guardian Affinity, struggling to make the trade, so the boy's gonna be able to close this out. Trill has Darkness, but he doesn't want to have to overlap it with Barkskin. He may well have to if Chun-Li and Smexen can stay on target. Smexen gripping Sea-Doo back into the fight. Ursul's Vortex put down for Sea-Doo as he tries to escape with that dash, but unable to really find anywhere safe to hide. Now trying to escape across the map. A Touch of Death is ticking, about to explode. No defense for 1 second. Gets stunned right before it. Now forced to use the Gladiator's Medallion on top of that Iron Bark just to stay in the fight. And if this keeps being a healer race, I'm not sure who's going to take it.
I really want Mez to just help Sea-Doo a lot more. I don't think running after Gurecki in the game is the play to actually win. Sea-Doo's going to be a little bit scared if he doesn't constantly have Chains of Ice on Chun-Li and Smexen, and Mez will be backing up Sea-Doo now, and this is what I want to see. Just have faith in Trill to chase down Gurecki, keep his mana low, and eventually burn him out of mana, but Sea-Doo doesn't really have much of a lead right here. Trill now landing a Mana Rift onto Gurecki, managing to find it. Sea-Doo still feeling very healthy now that Mez is actually helping him out. You can see the Death Grip on the Fists of Fury, really limiting the offensive capabilities of Chun-Li in this matchup, especially when he's trying to connect onto Sea-Doo. I don't want to ever see Mez leave Chun-Li or leave Sea-Doo alone with Chun-Li and Smexen again. Although Mez now taking quite a bit of pressure. Sea-Doo does have the Iron Bark if he needs to respond with it. As he gets gripped in, he needs to try to get away out of this. I think he should be fine. He uses Barkskin and Iron Bark. Another Maledict's going to be thrown in there by Gurecki onto Sea-Doo, but Sea-Doo should be able to easily heal through it, but doesn't want to leave Mez behind. In the meantime, Chun-Li getting low. There's a double stun. Chun-Li with no touch of Karma. Method Orange could send the boys out of this tournament. There's a lot of pressure for both teams in this situation. Gurecki has committed both Iron Bark and Barkskin as well. Both Druids really don't have too much left to work with.
It's game 5. Everything is on the line here. Who is going to falter? Where are the mistakes going to be made? We haven't even gotten into dampening, and both Druids are basically tapped on mana. Defensive rotations are starting to dwindle and wither away. At this point, it's still anyone's match. Anyone could take it, and you don't want to go anywhere but here. Mez getting bursted. Gurecki secures crowd control. Mez falls behind. Sea-Doo makes the trade to stay alive. Now Chun-Li with Fists of Fury to deny any sort of counter aggression. Well timed with that Turbo Fist Honor talent, parrying all the incoming attacks. Mez opting to just try and kite and retreat. Method Orange are on defense.
Yeah, Gurecki trying to sneak away out of combat, but Trill manages to shut that down. But mana in favor of Gurecki at this point. Sea-Doo sitting down for a drink.
Oh, he missed
it! Unfortunately, but Sea-Doo wasn't able to find any bit of mana. Gurecki getting gripped in. Good pressure here for Method Orange. Can they take Gurecki down? Now an all-in attempt onto Sea-Doo. Touch of Death has been committed. Sea-Doo basically just using his bark skin, trying to stay alive. He gets gripped back in. Darkness gets dropped out by Trill, but Sea-Doo's still in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, after that, he's gonna have to Iron Bark on top of it. He's trying to escape by kiting, but I don't think he's gonna be able to kite. He's doing his best with the dash. Chun-Li portals right back on top of him, trying to stay on target. Trill gets rooted up. He's not able to stay on Gorecki. Gorecki sneaks away. What is Gorecki going to get to do with this attempt? Not able to find a re-stealth, no stun for him. Now caught into a fell eruption. Mana Rift with Dampening has engaged. Mana almost completely tapped on both sides now at this point, but the defense for the boys looks a little bit more solid in terms of cooldowns available. Gorecki doing everything that he can to avoid the fight. Sea-Doo gets nice Ring of Peace on Sea-Doo's jump. Chun-Li trying to stay on target. Not able to move right now, just caught in a root. Sea-Doo stunned. Paralysis to hold him in place to catch up. Maybe crowd control and switch targets. The boys are trying to mix it up here into Dampening. Catch Method Orange off guard and take down Mez. Iron Bark forced to be traded here to stabilize Mez. Deeper into Dampening though, Iron Bark becomes way less effective. Unlikely to be enough to survive. It's still too close to call.
Yeah, this is one of the most close matchups we've seen all day. Smexon now getting bursted down as well. Chun-Li securing a full leg sweep. Mez trinkets out, still just trying to kite. Trying to get away from Chun-Li. Buy himself a little bit of time. Chun-Li throwing in a Fist of Fury. Smexon getting low. Sea-Doo trying to assist Mez with that Gladiator's Maledict. Gorecki completely out of mana. Sea-Doo out of mana. Both Druids potentially looking for drinks, but I think it's unlikely either one of these Druids finds one. Full Cyclone now secured by Gorecki onto Sea-Doo. Mez left by himself. Sea-Doo trinkets out to try to keep him alive. Mez is forced to use the anti-magic shell. Sea-Doo does have Iron Bark as well as Innervate. Opts to use the Innervate. Does he have the healing here to keep Mez alive? Not using the Iron Bark is huge greed from Sea-Doo. Finally committing it. Smexon could be in some trouble. Gorecki gets caught into the imprisonment. Which one of these two Death Knights is going to fall first?
I mean, Mez has defense rotating back up, and Sea-Doo has just the tiniest bit more mana left in the tank, so it's starting to look good for Method Orange as Dampening heats up. Gorecki caught into a stun. Smexon getting tunneled out. Mez has to trade, though. The pressure is in favor of the boys. They're swinging it back in their favor. How much longer can Method Orange stay alive now? Chun-Li goes for the Touch of Karma. They're just going to go for an all-in kill on Mez at this point. Double leg sweep, denying any sort of heals and defense. There's no darkness for 36 more seconds. There's nothing left for 10. I don't even know if it'll be enough when we make it to that point. Any magic shield? Is it going to be enough? Sea-Doo's caught in crowd control. Iron Bark available. Chun-Li gets gripped back into the fight. He doesn't really have much. Gorecki was trying to sneak away and regenerate some mana. I don't think he was able to find any. Now he's completely tapped on mana. Dampening hitting 20% at this point. Trill snags a double stun. Another Mana Rift to combine together to completely tap the mana bar of Gorecki. Chun-Li with limited defense. Mez now with more. This is constantly back and forth.
Yeah, both teams playing out of their minds in this matchup as both teams face elimination. This is such a close match. Both Druids still out of mana. Chun-Li has Touch of Karma rotating back up in around 30 seconds. Mez just uses Icebound Fortitude, so that's not going to be available for quite some time. Fist of Fury comes in onto Mez. Sea-Doo looking to deflect the damage with the Iron Bark. There's a full Asphyxiate stun. Do they have the damage to take Mez down? Chun-Li still vulnerable for another 20 seconds. Needs to hold on just a little bit longer. Paralysis now on Sea-Doo. Mez could fall. Chun-Li could fall. Trill trying to get the damage out to keep Mez alive. Chun-Li forced to run away. He has to hold on just another 9 seconds. Does he have the 9 seconds to survive with that Touch of Karma?
He's trying his best. It looks like he's going to be able to make it out alive. Now both Druids completely tapped. Gorecki actually maybe with a little bit tiny of a lead over Method Orange. Are the boys actually going to be able to climb back into the series? They were down 2-0 in the lower bracket, and now they're about to maybe win 3 in a row against Method Orange. Unbelievable at this point for the boys as they try to defend their point-earning title in that first place position, doing everything they can. Gorecki gets stunned. Chun-Li has to trade Touch of Karma. Now suddenly that defense lead that they had is basically lost. Chun-Li commits a Touch of Death. It's do or die. Kill Sea-Doo or go home. Will Sea-Doo fall to the pressure? He makes the trade. Everything he's got to stay alive. And now Chun-Li doesn't have much to keep going. Now Chun-Li will fall. It was do or die, but Sea-Doo denies the boys here in Game 5.
Potentially fall. Smexon's looking to close out the game. Gorecki with the Feral Affinity. Can they take Sea-Doo down? He's in bear form. Beautiful grip there by Mez. Gorecki could potentially kill him. Smexon trying to reconnect. If they can take Sea-Doo down, they might have the edge in this matchup. Sea-Doo's still completely out of mana. Gets break stunned by Gorecki. Smexen trying to reconnect, but Gorecki has to keep Smexen alive. Sea-Doo with Bear Form, with the Guardian Affinity, should be tanky enough to survive, but this match was as close as it gets, and Method Orange gets the rematch that they want in the ground.
But Super Frogs.
Alrighty, here we go. Method Orange Grand Finals versus Super Frogs. We're caught a little bit off guard here because Method Orange, they're going to be locking in the Windwalker Death Knight against Super Frogs Rogue Lock Druid, and I think this is a good matchup here for Method Orange.
I just wanted to see Snuts on Destruction again. I'm just really sad about that here in game number 1, but it's Snuts either way on that Assassination Rogue. They were able to beat the Demon Hunter Death Knight on Dalaran when these teams met earlier today. Perhaps the same is true here on the Grand Arena. Cubsy currently in a Fear that was stolen by Mez. Now Mez, though, in a double Mortal Coil. Chanimal trying to set up off the back of that, but unable to. Denied now by Chun-Li. Sea-Doo feared up. Mez and Trill both low on health. The Windwalker Monk is somewhat self-sustainable with likely Expel Harm being played, but a lot less self-sustainable than the Demon Hunter that Trill was playing, which means there will be more pressure on Sea-Doo to heal his team throughout the match, and mana is slowly etching in favor of Cubsy, but a ton of damage now may force him to expend a lot of that mana. Chanimal boldly just counter-engaging on this smoke bomb, trying to build up some pressure for his team. Not able to find it. Iron Bark seems to be enough for Cubsy to stabilize Chanimal here in the grand final for North America. A best of 7 to decide if the Super Frogs can tie the boys in points.
Yep, definitely, just taking a quick look at Trill's gear just to see exactly what he's doing. He often plays unique builds, but Trill actually caught into a kidney shot, could fall immediately into the bash. A beautiful setup by Super Frogs, and unfortunately Method Orange, Trill with that relentless talent got punished.
I feel like it shouldn't be possible compositionally, but they've been on fire today. Starting it off with that double Destruction Warlock, now going back to something more standard. However, we would say is weaker compositionally. Method Orange have set themselves up for success here in game 2 as they look to tie the series back. Cubsy playing Feral Affinity, so maybe a new addition on his part to add some extra damage to the team. Definitely could be an X factor for them to find a kill. Early on, though, we see Method Orange dealing devastation across the board here as Chanimal struggles to recover. Cubsy keeps it calm, cool, and collected, not over-exchanging his defensive lineup and stabilizing the team efficiently.
Yeah, Trill now caught into a kidney shot. Do they have any damage to really get anything rolling? I think it's unlikely at this point. I really like that offensive push there from Method Orange. They managed to get the Iron Bark from Cubsy as well as the Innervate for him to stabilize. But that offensive push a little later on will be significant, especially if they can coordinate their Maledict trinkets once again. Mez jumping down. I think he was looking for a Death Grip on the Chanimals, but unable to find it. Now Infernal's going to be dropped out as Chanimals looking to get aggressive. Cubsy pushing in, finds the Bash Cyclone onto Sea-Doo. Mez unable to deny. Now the Mortal Coil comes out. Trill could be in some trouble, but a nice Death Grip by Mez saves Trill from that Chaos Bolt.
I mean, even still, Smoke Bomb gets dropped as they try to take down Trill. They overlap, they panic. Big panic attack for Method Orange, overlapping 2 major defensive cooldowns. Fortunately, they do line up for Infernals, but now they won't have them for Vendetta. And I like that Snuts and Chanimal are splitting up the threats that they bring in this fight. If they commit at the same time, then Method Orange makes 1 trade for 2. Now Snuts has an opportunity to be the MVP. He engages. Crowd control looks good in this position. Will Anti-Magic Zone be enough to keep Trill alive? For Sea-Doo to get back to his team and start healing him up? It looks to be the case. Good plays there on Mez. Definitely keeping a level head, not overreacting earlier on. Having that answer for Vendetta was definitely key to Trill's survival.
Yeah, Cubsy going to be trying to create space once again. If he goes for a drink, it could give his team a decent lead. Trill into the kidney shot. Trill's been under so much pressure in this game. Sea-Doo gets interrupted. Trill has to trinket out. He uses Blur as well, and really there's no defense left. Look at Sea-Doo. No trinket, no Spirit Link. Trill, no trinket, no darkness, no Blur, no nothing. If Super Frogs can get one more clean setup, Chanimals has Unending Resolve and Dark Soul. I want to see it. If they can get crowd control on Sea-Doo, use Dark Soul with the Unending Resolve, they could easily close out this game.
All right, can they do it? Can the Super Frogs pull off a Game 2 victory against Method Orange? Chanimal has pulled the trigger. He's ready to get going. Getting one chaos ball, no, denied on it. Trill realizes that situation was dire, decides to play defensive at the boxes. The advantage that Dalaran Sewers provides is that there's always room for cover very close by, and they are going to exploit that here and now. Method Orange still have set themselves up for success, despite that little bit of a panic attack earlier on. Their cooldowns are rotating back and readily available. It's unlikely that we see a target go down before dampening in this specific matchup. However, pressure has been back and forth. I'm curious to see if Cubsy can utilize that feral affinity to get a kill for his team. Snuts gets Death Grip down below. Good out positioning here by Method Orange to burst down Snuts. Cubsy moves in. Able to stabilize, no overreaction in terms of cooldown management. Cubsy now looking for crowd control onto Sea-Doo. Managing to chain together Bash and Cyclone. Trill could now be in trouble as a result. He exchanges Blur to reduce damage during crowd control on his healer. Definitely a smart idea. Using that Consume Soul to get a shield, dispelling a heal over time effect, and definitely that Azerite trait, Burning Soul, for the Demon Hunter is paying its weight in gold, providing Trill a lot of self-sufficiency.
Yeah, Snuts has been instantaneously kicking Trill's I-beams. You can't even see it go off. It's being interrupted so fast. Snuts now kidney shotting Trill, but it doesn't look like there's much pressure. Snuts actually getting some bleeds up onto Sea-Doo, potentially setting him up for a swap a little bit later on. Chanimals gets gripped away by Mez, trying to deny some of his Destruction Warlock damage, really bringing him into a bad position. Cubsy now is very close for Trill to actually swap over and try to get some mana rifts if he so chooses. Kidney shot now into Mez with the smoke bomb, gets dropped out. Chanimals looking for some damage. Sea-Doo with a beautiful grounding totem shuts down that Chaos Bolt and keeps Mez alive.
Any pre-tremors Chanimals fear, really good shutdown by Sea-Doo, denying damage and crowd control, securing a lead for his team now. That panic attack, there was no opening now for the Super Frogs to take advantage of with Darkness rotated back and available. Spirit Link Totem as well. The mana lead is establishing itself here for Method Orange. Unless Cubsy can do what he's doing right now, Trill actually gives up on trying to deny it. I think Cubsy has managed to reset his mana, which I was really surprised to see here on Dalaran Sewers. Is he going to reset his mana and get defensive cooldowns from Mez at the same time? No, he didn't. What happened, Cubsy?
I'm not sure, but unfortunately he wasn't able to find the drink that he needed, and things are looking good for Method Orange. Chanimals looking to get really aggressive with the Infernals. Can he get the Cataclysm? No, he's getting chain interrupted, forced to gate away. Cubsy sitting down for a drink. Chanimals kiting. Cubsy just hiding in plain sight. Did he get any mana back there? Barely any at all. Mez needs to not overextend. Sea-Doo on top of him, though, drops the Earthen Shield Totem, giving his team a little bit more durability as they look to continue this push onto Chanimals and continue to burn down the mana of Cubsy.
Yeah, it's looking better and better for Method Orange here in game number 2 as they look to tie it up. Chanimals in danger. He's refusing to make a trade, makes it very late. Potentially an opening to crush him through it. Method Orange are trying to go for it and find it. They want to put a point on the board and advance in the rest of this series. Grand Finals, best of 7. Mez now getting counter-pressured, though, seemingly out of nowhere. Darkness and Spirit Link Totem, once again, a panic attack for Method Orange, but at least they stay alive. Now they've got an opening to kill Chanimal, and they're going to close it out. Right before that punishment could have came in from the Super Frogs. This series now brought 1-1.
A lot of pressure coming out onto the Super Frogs, though, if they do want to take down the Super Frogs. But if the Super Frogs let up here and they throw away one of the large maps, you have to say Method Orange may be able to just take this cleanly.
Yep, they most certainly can, but it is going to be an uphill battle. We have seen this Elemental Shaman Frost Mage composition devastate melee cleaves, and that is exactly what Method Orange are playing here in game number 3. Trill getting bursted down early on. Snuts trying to sneak in crowd control, not able to find it, denied by Grounding Totem. Good defensive play on Sea-Doo's part. Now, in the meantime, this is what we were critiquing from the team of the Pumpers in Europe, is that they need to coordinate their 3 Maledict trinkets at the same time for a big push, and it's the same condition for Method Orange here to take down Wealthy Man. I want to see all 3 members coordinate. One player launch first to bait out the Dispel, then the second player launch, and the third player after that. If they can combine their 3 Gladiators Maledicts in this order, they can complete the puzzle, force a major defensive cooldown, or net themselves a kill.
Yep, and I was just looking quickly at what Trill was running in terms of talents as well as Azerite traits. In this match, he's running the Turbo Fist as well as the Expel Harm and the Ride the Wind. So the Ride the Wind Once he uses the Flying Serpent Kick, it'll drop a little bit of a cloud. I'll make sure to point it out if he does use it soon, what it looks like, but it basically allows everyone in that cloud to get freedom, and it can be very effective against the Frost Mage at reaching the target once again, especially useful for helping out Mez or Sea-Doo if they are chasing him down.
Well, Dayman is trying to play at the starting room entrance. That has now dragged Sea-Doo into center field. Curious to see how they plan to play around this. Yes, going to be polymorphing up Sea-Doo. Good positioning by the team of the Super Frogs to expose Trill and Sea-Doo. Now they can switch their attention to Mez when Trill tries to retreat. Mez doesn't have the same type of mobility. Instead, using Death Strike on that Fire Elemental as he makes his way back out of line of sight. Good awareness on his part, catching himself a heal. But now they can switch to Sea-Doo, who is the third member that was left behind at the end of that crowd control chain. And if they can keep doing what they just did right there, deeper into dampening, certainly the Super Frogs are going to take this.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. And looking at the gear, both Mez and Trill are running double bonded souls. So trying to help out Sea-Doo with a little bit of additional healing. It also has a haste proc on it, but I think most of these players in these tournaments are using bonded souls as that secondary trait to really boost the healing of their teams. So they have 4 of those just from Mez and Trill. I'm not sure how many Sea-Doo are running, but that's definitely going to help them sustain during these moments where they're getting bursted down by Wealthy Man and Snuts, allow them in the open a little bit longer to keep up this pressure.
Trill trying to push forward, but taking the brunt of Snuts' burst here. Recovered now by Cubsy. Cubsy even launching out Solar Wrath to add in a little bit of extra damage. I think Mez managed to sneak away a polymorph there with his Dark Simulacrum, but in the meantime, Trill is actually the one that's just getting torn apart. Touch of Karma trades for him. Mez wants to land a polymorph. Unfortunately, now Cubsy is on polymorph diminishing return, so it's not going to be super effective. However, I believe they're still likely to go with that crowd control chain. No, holding on to it, deciding it's not worth it. Instead, just going for raw pressure on Wealthy Man. A ton of damage. Good Maledict's play here. Where's the follow-up? They don't have any follow-up. Would really like to see them commit as 3 members for that. Only 1 Maledict in that attack is not going to be enough to get an ice block. However, they are slowly and surely establishing a mana lead. Definitely still anyone's match here as we get closer to dampening.
Yep, definitely. Cubsy now sitting down for a drink. If he can regenerate enough mana, this is going to be solid for the Super Frogs, and he did manage to do that. I think if Super Frogs can maintain this position, Method Orange, they're going to have to play really aggressive if they want to try to get some kills onto Wealthy Man. They have to stay out in the open for some time. We kind of talked about for these cleave setups how important it is to get through the Temporal Shield, as well as Cubsy's Iron Bark if they want to secure a kill. If they can't stay in the open long enough to get through those 2 defensives, it's unlikely they're going to be able to burst Wealthy Man down and actually secure a kill. So there is a bit of uptime required for Mez and Trill in this matchup to take down Wealthy Man. A nice grip into potential double stun, but Wealthy Man with a really quick blink was able to escape, and Cubsy was the only one that got caught in that stun. And as a result, Trill and Mez really weren't able to find the damage.
Trill and Mez trying to pressure Cubsy, but on Tolvaron Arena, that's going to be difficult to do as he is able to navigate away, and Wealthy Man and Snuts can basically play bodyguard for their healer, and it's really difficult to attack a healer against a Wizard Cleave, and definitely not recommended on the largest map in the pool, so Method Orange are going to then go back to a more standard strategy. It'd be interesting to see if they try and take the strategy that the Pumpers played and send 1 melee after Snuts, 1 melee after Wealthy Man, and play for a later game kill in that regard. So far, they don't seem to be wanting to do that. Instead, just consistently looking for swaps to Cubsy as he is trying to get away. Nice Ring of Peace by Trill, bouncing Cubsy back into the fight. Mez connects 2-on-1. Traveling Storm Thunderstorm by Snuts to try and peel them off of Cubsy, but they're still managing to stay on his back. Now with that wild charge, unlikely to be the case. Immediately switching their attention back to Wealthy Man, but I do like that Method Orange are willing to mix it up if someone on Super Frogs compromises their positioning. Definitely playing for any edge that they can find.
Yep, there it is. Lightning Lasso on Mez. He's forced to trade out the Icebound Fortitude to try to avoid some of that damage. Lightning Lasso is a channeled ability, so as a player, if you trinket it or use a stun breaker like the Icebound Fortitude for the Death Knight, it will stop the channel and prevent any of that incoming damage. So Method Orange, they're opting to try to just avoid damage at this cost. Sea-Doo has so much mana, he can't even spend it fast enough to keep his team alive, and that really could potentially be the problem. I don't really see Sea-Doo going out of mana, but I don't know if he basically can't spend his mana fast enough to actually keep his teammates alive in certain situations. Mez now caught into the Lightning Lasso. Good burst here coming in from the Super Frogs. Can they take him down? Doesn't look like Method Orange will really have to commit too much. Cubsy still 100% mana, been consistently sneaking off for drinks. A full Hex has been secured by Snuts onto Sea-Doo, but it doesn't look like Super Frogs really has the damage to get anything done with it.
No, they do not. I'm hoping that Sea-Doo expends this mana with the ability called Purge. They can remove heal over time effects during a big push on Wealthy Man and then crush him with nothing but pressure. That's definitely a win condition, assuming that Sea-Doo can make it that deep into dampening and still have his mana retained. We do see Maledict fly in towards Wealthy Man, then Mez coordinates for the second, and then where is the third is now the question. No third Maledict, only two, but even with two, they may be able to get an Ice Block. Iron Bark and Kiting of Wealthy Man is slowing down the pace of the damage and denying that cooldown force. In the meantime, Snuts is trying to carry, similarly to how Swapsy needed to for his team, as the caster not being pressured. It's your main goal to obviously maximize your damage, but also look to crowd control the enemy healer. So in this case, Sea-Doo. Wealthy Man's job is to do as much damage as possible as well. It's basically everyone's job to do that, just baseline, but then also position Mez and Trill in a spot where Snuts is more likely to maximize his damage and get crowd control. Currently, Wealthy Man under fire, but with a huge temporal shield, bounces right back into the fight.
Yeah, it definitely does. 15% dampening right now. Cubsy caught into the incapacitate. Mez and Trill looking for a push. They might be able to take the first ice block from Wealthy Man. Oh, Iron Bark, is it going to, what it actually is the defensive? Oh, it is Iron Bark onto Wealthy Man. Okay, that should be enough to keep him alive just now, but once that fades, if Method Orange can stay in, they might be able to easily get off that ice block from Wealthy Man. Trill and Mez able to sit through with this Earthen Shield Totem dropped by Sea-Doo. Nice Thunderstorm there by Snuts, knocking them out of the safety of that defensive cooldown. Now Wealthy Man kind of all alone. Snuts has to play backup. Polymorph spam coming in from Wealthy Man. He realizes they can't counter pressure right now. They just need to stay alive. They need to buy time for the temporal shield. He manages to find it. Cubsy has to heal him up. He needs to stay alive before that procs, and ultimately it does. Wealthy Man will survive. Now Trill and Mez, they have to stay in there. They need to try to get Iron Bark once again. They could potentially run away, but if they keep running away after just getting Iron Bark and Temporal Shield, these cooldowns just rotate up so quickly that they're not really able to force out the ice blocks they need.
I'm starting to think it's possible for Method Orange to win here on Tolvaron Arena, and if they can take the biggest map in the pool away from the Super Frogs, that is devastating for the Super Frogs throughout the rest of the series, as they do not have melee cleaves under their roster, and Method Orange are basically nothing but, so they will take full advantage of that for the rest of the series if they can pull off a victory. I think Sea-Doo is going to have to risk his mana at some point to use Purge and get aggressive with his team, but he's going to have to pick his timing. If he picks the wrong one and burns out of mana, he's going to lose the game. If he picks the right one, he's going to win the game. So everything rides on Sea-Doo here to try and carry the team deeper into dampening. In the meantime, they would like to try and get ice blocks out of the way without having to expend mana to Purge, but so far they haven't had any luck.
Yeah, definitely. Wealthy Man getting a little bit low. He gets interrupted. Can't blink. Looking for Frostbolts. God, that's definitely dancing with the devil there. Wealthy Man, if he got interrupted on that Frostbolt, he could have easily gone down without being able to use his ice block. But he manages to pay off. Now Wealthy Man still looking for polymorphs, looking to survive, but big burst damage coming in from Trill and Mez. Wealthy Man blinks away. Sea-Doo caught into the Hex. Good counter pressure here on Trill with no defuse and no karma. Trill is very vulnerable. He can't sit out in the open for too long. Nice temporal shield, as well as the Thunderstorm by Snuts will keep Super Frog stable for now, but Trill sitting in the open with no cooldowns. He is forced to retreat, hide behind the pillar, especially with these polymorphs onto Sea-Doo. Method Orange gets swatted away for the time being.
Yeah, Method Orange are still being denied on that ice block objective. Their main goal with killing Wealthy Man. Now Snuts with the lightning lasso to save an ice block potentially. Good timing on Snuts' part, doing his best to allow his team victory here. Icy Veins gets popped. No frozen orb though. This is very peculiar timing.
He's locked up Frost!
Why did he pop Icy Veins there, Ven?
I'm not sure. That's a good question, but he got locked on Frost, and that was a very scary call. I almost lost my mind. Wealthy Man could have potentially gone down there without using the ice block, and at 33% dampening, having not used a single ice block, that would have been a complete blunder from the Super Frogs. Now Incapacitate gets used out by Trill. Wealthy Man tries to deflect with the Temporal Shield once again, but Sid, like you said, he used his Icy Veins. That's his main offensive cooldown. Wasn't able to really get any damage rolling whatsoever. That was definitely missed timing there for the Super Frogs and a potential lost opportunity. Two Maledicts fly towards Wealthy Man. Cubsy's able to dispel. The third one does land. Looks like it's good.
Uh-oh.
Wealthy Man blinks away. He needs to try to avoid the ice block, but things are snowballing out of control here for the Super Frogs. Method Orange, they have a huge lead in terms of momentum.
Method Orange finally coordinate together for a 3-man effort to get that second and final ice block of the match. If they can coordinate together now with Purge, Sea-Doo has saved up just enough mana to get a couple. They're going to easily crush Wealthy Man on their best map, on their comp advantage. They're going to take the swing match if they can manage to pull this off, and likely the rest of the series. They drop Spiritling Totem to stay aggressive and race the Temporal Shield, find the kill despite the disadvantages provided by the Super Frogs. And now, if you're the Super Frogs,
in there, ultimately, we're all left here asking for the double Warlock. Method Orange seems to be happy enough with this. Let's see if it's enough to get them on match point.
Yeah, the last time we saw this matchup, Trill fell quite quickly. Wasn't able to get his Karm off right in the opening stages of the game. So I think this is going to be a much more realistic view of how this match actually should go, as long as everyone is using their defensive cooldowns. Chanimals gets interrupted, grips out of line of sight. Good burst here for Method Orange. Cubsy not overcommitting, using his Innervate right away, and you'll see really good Resto Druids. They'll use their Innervate, they can load up their team with heal over time effects. The damage just isn't stopping here for Method Orange. Chanimals finally stabilizes, but another Death Grip gets Chanimals out of position, trying to counter pressure now with the Infernals.
yeah, Rain of Fire, this Chaos Bolt could hit huge. Mez denies it. Trill follows up, but he's still low on health. If Chanimal can sneak in a Chaos Bolt here, it's going to be big. Connects that on Trill. Tons of pressure. Sea-Doo not wanting to choke under that, doesn't want to overlap cooldowns, but if he gets spell locked on a heal like that, Touch of Karma now has to be traded. Maledict to soak up the healing. He gets feared off the back end of the spell lock. Chanimal on fire right now, just decimating Method Orange. Trill trying to stay alive, but he gets destroyed in the opening stages of this fight. Chaos connects.
No way!
That was big, big plays on Chanimal. That was the sickest Warlock plays I've seen this year. Completely owned Method Orange.
Nice setups. Really is up to Method Orange to make sure they're deflecting these all-in attacks from Super Frogs. And if they can do that, I think they can definitely walk away with this game.
Thanks, Van.
You're welcome.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are tied up here in this grand final for the North American region. Method Orange lead the charge here with tons of pressure over onto Chanimal. How much damage can they get out here initially is the question. If they can pull more than just Iron Bark, it would definitely be crucial to finding victory, but they are not finding that just yet. I like Cubsy's positioning at the starting room. If the opposing Demon Hunter Trill decides to march his way over there to get mana rifts, Trill will then move out in the open and Chanimal can free cast on him. Definitely top tier positioning here from the Super Frogs.
Yeah, definitely Snut's caught in a root right now, not able to get too much done. He actually commits his Vanish. What is he going to do with it? Looks like he sets up for a Garrote onto Trill, potential kidney shot. Chanimal's lining up a Chaos Bolt, but really no stun to be found just yet. Snut's holding onto it, finds a kidney shot now on Trill, but with no crowd control on Sea-Doo, I think Trill's going to be able to easily deflect this attack.
Yep, he's got more than enough cooldowns banked up to trade against the Super Frogs here on Game 5. And this is not match point just yet, as this is a best-of-7 grand final. So if you're a Method Orange fan or a Super Frogs fan, we aren't going to be deciding the champion off this win. It will be the one afterwards, potentially. So far, Method Orange have a lead. I'm very surprised to not see the Super Frogs try their double Destruction Warlock into this composition. We were saying that maybe they're hesitant into the Windwalker Death Knight, but this time they would have known, no, they would not have known what was coming their way, so they did blind lock in the Rogue Warlock. But if they do know what's coming their way, I want to see that double Destruction Warlock make a return for them. It definitely performed great against Method Orange earlier on. Snuts is trying to solo Sea-Doo, popping Vendetta and really looking for an early kill. Maybe with some coordinated Maledicts they can find it. Not likely, they don't go for it. Sea-Doo should recover. Pairing that Ascendance with Pack Spirit, trying to heal the team for free. Good combo of that Azurite trait and the spell Ascendance from Sea-Doo. Immediate recovery, and it's free, so nice trade. This map, though, is advantageous for Method Orange, as they can easily deny Cubsy from drinking, although right now they're not doing the... Okay, never mind, Cubsy couldn't drink for that long because Chanimal was taking too much damage, potentially just getting destroyed here in game number 5. manages to recover. Nuts now trying to set up, gets Sea-Doo's Gladiator's Medallion with that blind. Potentially we see Sea-Doo be the kill target here on hook point, now that Snuts has created that opening.
Yeah, definitely Sea-Doo could be in some trouble. Chaos Bolt gets interrupted. If that Chaos Bolt went off, it would have been good night Sea-Doo. Good backup there from Mez and Trill to keep him alive. Now Sea-Doo out of line of sight should be able to easily survive. So Nuts committed his kidney shot. Mez and Trill are going to be looking healthy. Cubsy's mana is the only thing in this game that is not looking healthy, and I don't think he's going to be able to sneak away and get a drink, especially on this map. Trill has been all over him so far. Cubsy looking for more heals onto Chanimals. Chanimals does have the unending resolve, so he could potentially try to make an offensive play, trade that out in order to buy Cubsy a little bit of time. Now Cubsy into a full hex, nicely done by Sea-Doo, but Mez is the one that's taking most of the pressure. Chanimals gets gripped away from Cubsy. Cubsy has to find some heals, manages to find some onto Chanimals to keep him alive. Sea-Doo has to play catch up here onto Mez. You look at mana, Sea-Doo is just so far ahead in this match.
Yep, definitely creating a significant lead for himself here on hook point, facing the Super Frogs in the grand final of the North American region. The Super Frogs are looking to try and tie point earnings with the boys, but if Method Orange can win here, they will not, and the boys will remain in first place in terms of points, but it seems to be a three-horse race in North America. That fourth place spot still up for grabs, and a lot of teams looking to get it, that of Storm, that of Rejects, most notably, as well as Never Lucky. There's a lot of teams competing for that fourth spot in North America. Trill gets bursted down. Mez makes the trade to deny. Will it be enough? It does appear to be the case. Anti-Magic Zone's protection saving the day. Cubsy trying to sit down for a drink again, but not able to find really any mana off the back of it. The lead is slowly building for Method Orange.
Yeah, definitely Chanimals getting gripped behind the pillar once again, away from Cubsy. He gates back to Cubsy, the safety of his Restoration Druid, trying to get some heals. Cubsy moves in and finds the bash onto Sea-Doo. Trill now into a full kidney shot. How is he going to respond? He trinkets out. Darkness gets dropped out as well. Nicely done. That's exactly what he needed to do. That was a scary situation. Sea-Doo still has his Trinket and Spirit Link as well, so they have that to fall back onto if they really need. Sea-Doo with a nice Tremor Totem on the fear of Chanimals will keep him in the fight and keep his team aggressive. Trill trying to find the damage onto Chanimals. Cubsy almost completely tapped on mana, and this is where Method Orange is going to start really ripping into Super Frogs. Cubsy with no mana. Chanimals is just going to be getting lower and lower. There has to be some semblance of counter pressure here for the Super Frogs, but it just seems like Method Orange, they have all the defensive tools that they need, except Sea-Doo. He actually doesn't have a Trinket. There's still a window of opportunity here for the Super Frogs. Chanimals trying to get something done with his unending resolve. There's no Trinket on Trill, no Trinket on Sea-Doo. They can get CC. They just need to hold on a little bit longer, but I don't know if they have enough time. Chanimals getting low. The kidney shot on Mez. Spirit Link Totem gets dropped out, buying Method Orange enough time to take down Chanimals and claim game number 5.
And once again, a small map going to work for Method Orange. Zico, it is week number 3 of the AWC. This is the grand final for North America. Method Orange, your reigning BlizzCon champions, weren't even able to make it into the top 8 the first week. They have bounced back. Now they are on a warpath. If they win this, they will take down the entire cup, but Super Frogs stand in their way. Currently, the number 2 team in all of North America.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Method Orange can get done in this game. They're on match point. If they win this, they win the entire tournament, which is going to be exactly what they want. Missing out on points in the first week, they need to be securing as many as possible if they want to get their spot at the spring finals. Interrupt on Sea-Doo. Mez taking a little bit of damage early on, and it looks like Super Frogs or Method Orange, they're going to be going for a split strategy. Wealthy Man trying to control up Trill, who's just sitting on him. Mez taking an absurd amount of damage right now. Chanimals, that was his Infernals. And Method Orange, they are really respecting it. They're sitting at the pillar. They don't want to throw away another game just by letting Chanimals do whatever he wants, and I think that's a very intelligent decision.
Method Orange are on match point now. If they can win this, they will be the champions of the Spring Cup, number 3 of the Arena World Championship Series. It's looking good so far here as Wealthy Man is isolated and forced into his first ice block. Moments into the match, we have not seen ice blocks forced until dampening earlier on in the series, and Super Frogs are already on match point. Having that major defense blown out early on is going to just add to the pressure.
Yeah, Wealthy Man, he's not going to be much of a threat at this point in the game when Trill and Mez can just sit on him, limit his Frost Bolts, limit his ability to put out a Blizzard, even killing off his pets. it is really hard for Wealthy Man to get counter pressure. It's really going to be up to Chanimals in this matchup to make sure he's looking for crowd control on Sea-Doo. He's finding Chaos Bolts in this match to really try to make Mez and Trill back off Wealthy Man. If not, Wealthy Man's going to be in a world of pain.
Yeah, most certainly a world of pain indeed. We do see Sea-Doo caught in crowd control as Chanimal tries to set up to counter-aggress. Chanimal has definitely been the MVP for the Super Frogs here today. Can he do it? Can he carry his team back here? They need to win 2 in a row to take this. If they can manage to do it, they will then tie the boys first place in terms of points, almost guaranteeing themselves a spot, I would think, at the spring final. So it's definitely important for them. A lot on the line if they do want to accrue the most amount of points, not to mention that the highest amount of points earned can secure a guaranteed spot to the World Finals. So securing first place consistently or a top 3 is definitely of utmost importance to all of the teams in this tournament competing in this season. Cubsy getting mana rifted down. Trill has secured a massive lead. Ooh. Polymorph stolen by Mez. Potential Ice Block force for Method Orange, but Wealthy Man denies it. Great temporal shield timing once again. Although that lead is still establishing itself, how is Cubsy going to manage to sneak away and regenerate mana? It's pretty much required at this point.
Yeah, Wealthy Man and Chanimals are going to have to find crowd control on Mez and Trill and Sea-Doo, keep everyone locked down in place. But with Wealthy Man kiting to Cubsy, it becomes more and more difficult for Cubsy to realistically get away, get a re-stealth, and try to regain some of its precious mana. Although he does sneak away. I don't know if Method knows where he is. He's sitting down. He could reset his mana completely. This is disastrous for Method Orange. Cubsy basically gets a full reset here. Still drinking as much as humanly possible. And now Wealthy Man going to be fine. He has a temporal shield. Cubsy connects the Iron Bark to play catch up. He did trade out a little bit of his defenses there to get that drink off, but it was more than worth it. And Super Frogs have maintained and actually have now a massive mana lead.
Really well done on the part of Cubsy to secure his team that late game fight that is pretty much required against this composition. It's so durable. Method Orange have brought it, and obviously Method Black have been utilizing it as well. That Demon Hunter and Death Knight paired together brings so much self-sufficiency that Sea-Doo effectively doesn't even have to heal them. He can just focus on denying casts, breaking up crowd control, and keeping his team aggressive.
Certainly, Mez now caught into a stun, fear onto Sea-Doo, and you can see Trill still chasing down Wealthy Man as Wealthy Man does manage to find a polymorph to slow him down just a little bit. Cubsy snuck away and got another drink in this matchup. Sitting on full mana, things are looking good for Super Frogs. Sea-Doo is going to have a more and more difficult time actually keeping his team alive and aggressive in this matchup. Trill hasn't been able to find the mana rush we normally see. Now Sea-Doo sitting down for a drink. Chanimals and Wealthy Man moving in, making sure they can actually stop him. Now Mez on 50% health. Do they have the damage to take him down? I think with the pillar, with Sea-Doo backing him up, Mez is going to be fine in this situation. But Cubsy once again taking an opportunity to get away, reset his mana. Now he's at full mana once again, entering dampening, and this is the exact situation you want to be in if you are Super Frogs.
Yeah, Cubsy setting his team up quite well here in game number 6, but they're still on match point. Making one mistake will cost them the entire tournament. They cannot afford to. They've been playing excellently in this grand final, but they need to overcome this composition that has been crafted. The Demon Hunter and the Death Knights seems to be one that is so difficult to thwart. We saw the team of the Pumpers manage to overcome it with their Warrior and Death Knight composition, but Super Frogs simply don't have that as an option. So they're trying to navigate a different route to victory against it, focusing much more on crowd control. Really, the only mistakes being made by the Super Frogs are on part of Wealthy Men, giving Mez the opportunity with that Dark Simulacrum to steal polymorphs and then apply them to Cubsy. Wealthy Man definitely needs to keep an eye on that. That's an opening that Method Orange will look to exploit later on. Now that dampening has begun, inevitably this game will close because healing will just simply become ineffective, and it's still anyone's game.
Yep, Cubsy sitting in the backfield should be able to keep Wealthy Man up. Like you said, it's really going to be up to Wealthy Man to make sure Mez is not taking these polymorphs for him. That's going to be a lot of generated pressure for their team if they are able to find it. Cubsy sits down for a drink once again, and this is not how we normally see Method Orange play this matchup. Normally we see Trill easily be able to hunt down Cubsy in this matchup and consistently stop him from drinking, get the mana rifts on cooldown, but this is just a completely different team. It seems like Cubsy's just been able to easily sneak away so far in this matchup. Maybe this is not the strategy that Method Orange want. Maybe they think they can actually just take down Wealthy Man regardless of mana. It doesn't really matter to them. Temporal Shield gets used by Wealthy Man. Another Polymorph gets stolen by Mez. Nicely done. He's been doing such a good job with that Death Knight ability, Dark Simulacrum, to steal Wealthy Man's Polymorphs, get crowd control for his team. But now Mez could be in some trouble. Chaos Bolt connects. He deflects it with the anti-magic shell as Sidu was caught into a polymorph, and Sidu's actually opting to play Relentless in this matchup, so he's gonna be caught into fears and polymorphs, and he won't be able to trinket out of them, but they'll all be reduced in duration because of that Relentless PvP talent. Now Wealthy Man trying to get some counter pressure here with the Frozen Orb. Mez still in a little bit of trouble. That Spirit Link actually dropped out by Sidu as well to keep his team alive. Mez's HP just isn't going up. The damage from Super Frogs is too high. Now Sidu into a full polymorph. Mez forced to retreat, but Chanimal's there looking for some Chaos Bolts. Switches it over to Mez. Another polymorph coming in from Wealthy Man. That was his Icy Veins as well as the Dark Soul and the Infernal. So Super Frogs committed a lot to that all-in attack, but they managed to get huge cooldowns.
Yeah, I mean, Trill still has Darkness, so he can definitely save the day. That Ice Block that Method Orange got earlier in the match basically doesn't matter at this point. Now that Cold Snap has become available for Wealthy Man, he'll have 2 more Ice Blocks for the rest of the match, which means Method Orange need to clean up their offense. They need to coordinate that Gladiator's Maledict 3 at a time to take out Wealthy Man, or at least get Ice Blocks out of the way. Wealthy Man definitely can't afford to keep making these mistakes on the Dark Simulacrums of Mez. If he gives a Polymorph during a push, there's a Maledict activation by Mez, dispelled by Cubsy, and there's no follow-up. Definitely uncoordinated attempt there by Method Orange. That then gives Super Frogs a lot more room to breathe, securing further crowd control over onto Sidu. But before dampening is a tad bit deeper, it's going to be too difficult to puncture through the defense of the classes that Mez and Trill are currently playing. Pressure is finally mounting towards Wealthy Man. Cubsy struggling, although his drinks earlier on in the match have definitely secured himself an opportunity here in the late game for his team, playing it out to the bitter end. But ultimately, if they do manage to win, we're going to a Game 7, and it will be the comp and the map advantage for Method Orange. Sidu still locked down in crowd control. Mez at the pillar, line of sighting. Trill ducking around now as well. They're going to switch to Sidu. They've got him caught in midfield. He's running Relentless. They need to back him up. Lots of damage flying in. Astral Shift from Sidu should be enough to survive. I really like that swap to Sidu. Great targeting by the Super Frogs. If they can make another move like that, they definitely can close this out, bring it to Game 7.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Without the benefit of the Astral Shift, he could easily fall down, but I don't think Mez and Trill are going to make that mistake again. They can't leave Sidu behind in that situation. Cubsy's mana still doing really well. Honestly, the control from Chanimals and Wealthy Man has been quite high in this game. Mez taking quite a bit of pressure. Earthen Shield Totem gets dropped out by Sidu to reduce some of that incoming damage. Nice cap stun coming in from Sidu to slow down Wealthy Man. He blinks away, gets gripped back in by Mez, trying to avoid some damage. A beautiful Shadow Fury from Chanimals, setting Wealthy Man up to actually get some cast off, get some damage rolling. Full polymorph on Trill. Now Mez having to retreat behind the pillar once again. I think Sidu's actually looking for a drink, but that gets shut down there by Chanimals with the Rain of Fire. In the meantime, though, Cubsy, he manages to sneak away. I think he's at full mana, and that's a full reset there for the Super Frogs. Wealthy Man, he has both of his Ice Blocks. Chanimals, every single defensive cooldown. But Method Orange, they still have a chance. At some point in the game, these Cleave setups, they managed to overwhelm for an extended period of time.
And I think the targeting needs to change here for Method Orange, but they're falling behind. Trill trying to hide around the corner. Very low on health. That soul rending healing so much ineffective, and he's not benefiting from it when he can't attack. Wealthy Man blinks in to try and close it. Trill denies it for at least a second, but will it be enough? Sidu is still crowd controlled. Spirit Link, good shot calling. No overreaction on the side of Method Orange despite that scary situation, but I would say that it's just going to increasingly happen. There's no mana lead anymore. There's no pressure lead. There's no cooldown lead. This game is slipping away from Method Orange, and I think we're going to be going to a game number 7. They make the swap. They need to try and gun down Chanimal. They can't. They don't have the time to get through 2 Ice Blocks, but if they try and push right now, Chanimal has Infernals down. He could get a kill with his Chaos Bolt. Gets denied. They have to avoid this Chaos Bolt at all costs. They go for the Maledict play. They're looking to close here and push to game 7. They deny it further. Chanimal still just wants it. If he can get just this one one Chaos Bolt. He gets gripped. He's desperately trying to find the one Chaos Bolt. He's not able to get it just yet. Maybe they go after Sea-Doo. There's the Chaos Bolt, but now Dark Soul has faded. The threat is basically lost, and now Method Orange need to go for the kill.
This is exactly what they needed to do. Go on Chanimals. He was setting up way too much pressure, and now Trill and Mez, they have a target they can actually heal off of, which is so important. Full polymorph onto Cubsy, stolen once again by Mez, doing such an excellent job. Chanimals having to retreat, Heat Gates away, but Mez and Trill, they're going to be chasing him down. This is looking like a completely different game with this target choice swap. Chanimals burns through his unending resolve. That's the Iron Bark as well. Method Orange is looking good. I don't know if Chanimals is going to be able to recover. Tries to get away with the Mortal Coil, looking for a Chaos Bolt. Mez could be in some trouble. Anti-Magic Shell has to get traded out. Sea-Doo needs to keep his team in the fight, but he's got no mana left. I think he's actually hurting a little bit. Another Polymorph stolen by Mez. MVP of the team. If they can take down Chanimals off the back of these Polymorphs, Mez has been doing such an incredible job, but I don't know if they have the damage to really push Chanimal over the top. Sea-Doo has no mana left whatsoever. Super Frog's looking to stay in this tournament. Mez once again with the Dark Sim of the Crumb. Did he get another crowd control? No way Mez is going to be able to survive. Darkness gets dropped out. Sea-Doo has no mana, no Spirit Link, no nothing, and Mez ultimately will fall. Super Frogs tie up this series.
Mez plays out of his mind there, gets so much CC across the board, mostly up into their potential, and here with Snuts as well, they have already just had a better year than they had last year in a lot of ways. Obviously only 3 Cubs, but you look at them and you just say, how is this not a team that makes it deep throughout brackets? Throughout the entire year? Well, we're going to find out right now who the next champ is.
No matter what, this is the last game of the day, so you don't want to go anywhere. We were going to be crowning our champions of the North American Spring Cup number 3. Can Method Orange secure a first place finishes? They've been battling it out. They've set themselves up here with a map advantage and a comp advantage. Super Frogs are going to have to battle uphill, but Chanimal has been making play after play this entire day. If there was a team to be able to do it, it would be the Super Frogs here and now.
Infernals get dropped out. Now a Basher on Sea-Doo. He doesn't have a trinket. Full fear secured by Chanimals. What are they going to be able to make happen in this situation? Mez kiting away. Double Mortal Coil comes in from Chanimals. He's looking to play aggressive. That's going to be the Dark Soul, but unfortunately for Chanimal, Mez and Trill say no way, and they run away. They're going to be out of line of sight, avoiding all of this Destruction Warlock damage. I like the positioning from Method Orange in this situation. Chanimals wants to play in this room, but it's also easy for Method Orange to just run away and line of sight all of these offensive cooldowns Chanimals has available. And once those are gone, it's going to be easy for Method Orange to move in and continue the pressure that they need.
Cubsy is playing Feral Affinity. On this map, it will be difficult for him to reset, regenerate mana on drinks, so Method Orange can win the safe long game with the Mana Rift strategy, and in the short term, everyone stacks up, and if you're a Demon Hunter and a Death Knight, you can cleave multiple targets, so that's going to be great for them as well. I guess the downside is that Snuts' Fan of Knives will also cleave. Let's see what they can get done here in the starting room. Snuts is trying to develop pressure on multiple targets, but Chanimal is falling behind. Cubsy makes a trade to recover. Sea-Doo dumping in a couple of heals. They are using spell locks on Trill's I-beams, trying to deny damage output from him, but then if spell lock isn't available for Sea-Doo, he can easily just heal the entire team. So it's an interesting choice from the Super Frogs to use their spell locks on I-beam. I'm curious to see how it plays out for them in terms of maybe mana management into the late game. You can see on Blackrock Hold, though, that Fan of Knives really doing a lot of work. Good crowd control by the Super Frogs. They find an opening, and it's going to bag them in Icebound Fortitude, a very powerful defensive cooldown. Super Frogs capitalizing on the errors of Method Orange, definitely turning this map in their own favor. This Fan of Knives build from Snuts is definitely working out.
Yeah, it's super good. When they're all clumped up, he's able to get a lot of damage out, get Rupture on all 3 targets, and that just makes it so the Super Frogs have 3 different targets, 3 different opportunities in the match to actually land a killing blow. Trill now into a kidney shot. Are they going to be able to find the damage? Smoke Bomb gets dropped out. Bash thrown in by Cubsy to take Trill down. It gets interrupted on the I-beam once again. Sea-Doo caught into the full blind. He trinkets out immediately, looking for the healing wave to top Trill off. Trill and Mez looking very healthy. Chanimal's the one that could potentially be in some trouble, but with the unending resolve as well, Cubsy using the Iron Bark, he should be able to survive. Chanimal's actually making an adaptation in this matchup. He's playing the Nether Ward, which will allow him to immune the interrupts coming in from Mez and Trill if he really needs to.
Yeah, and how many times would he have been able to get a kill if he was able to get a Chaos Bolt? I think that was a smart decision from Chanimals to make that difference, to pick up Nether Ward so he can get Chaos Bolt cast during critical moments in the fight. Perhaps that could be enough for Super Frogs to take it here in Game 7 of the Grand Finals. Will the reigning BlizzCon champions be taken out by the Super Frogs, or will they get to reclaim their first place spot here today? We will decide in this final game. Right now, Cubsy is falling behind, but not nearly as significantly as I was expecting. Good denial on that wild growth. A very expensive heal during Innervate would have been free, so denying that bonus healing from Cubsy is going to put him behind on mana. Thorns activated onto Chanimal to try and allow allow Chanimal and Snuts more potential for counter pressure. Potentially with Thorns, Chaos Bolts, and Fan of Knives, they can counteract the self-healing of the Death Strike and the Soul Rending of the Demon Hunter, but at this point it isn't the case. However, deep in dampening it will be the case. Super Frogs going after Mez, double crowd control. Chanimal trying to set up. Chaos Bolt connects, not dealing too much damage there as Earthen Wall Totem was already activated by Sea-Doo, catching a couple of healing waves. And they have been constantly kicking Trill and spell-locking Trill on I-Beam, so Sea-Doo should be less hesitant, I think, to cast healing waves. But after the game where Trill died to a spell lock, I don't blame him for being overly cautious.
Yeah, I feel like Method Orange is being a little bit more sloppy. I don't know if fatigue has gotten to them, but Cubsy, he's been sitting down, drinking, hiding in plain sight, just a few steps away from Method Orange. Normally, early on in the day, Method Orange, they were on top of stopping these Resto Druids, never allowing them an opportunity to go for drinks, but Super Frogs has been able to maintain their mana in this matchup. Maybe Method Orange feels like they don't even need the mana lead. Eventually, with dampening, they can just take Chanimals down. That definitely could be an option, but I still think it's worth stopping Cubsy from drinking when they can. Snuts taking a little damage right now, as well as Cubsy as they make a swap onto him. Mez looking to line of sight Chanimals. Double Chaos Nova coming in. That's going to be slowing down both Chanimals and Cubsy. Nicely done by Trill as he looks to get some cleave pressure on all three members. Now Cubsy almost completely out of mana. Trill been doing a really good job at making sure now he's landing these mana rifts, and they've been adding up very quickly onto Cubsy. And unfortunately for him, he's already very low on mana as we move deep into closer into dampening. Cubsy does manage to escape, looking for a restyle. Trill looking to shut it down, and I think this is really important. Now that Cubsy's behind on mana, Method Orange, they need to start looking to consistently stop Cubsy and eventually secure that mana lead.
Yeah, Method Orange can just play it safe, just keep it together defensively and go for Mana Rift after Cubsy and deny him regenerating mana. Chanimal pulls the trigger on damage. Sea-Doo is the target. Is he going to falter here in game number 7? Mez is protecting him currently with that anti-magic zone. He's going to immediately retreat back to the pillar so he can line of sight Chanimal, activating that Spirit Walker's Grace and immuning the incoming interrupts and able to restabilize the team. It's now Chanimal on the back foot as Method Orange look to make a push with that Imprison, but Snuts denies the connect with a kidney shot. Sea-Doo answers with a grounding totem on Chanimal's Chaos Bolt. Threats tossed back and forth, denial on both sides. It's still anyone's fight here, even though Method Orange are etching ahead.
Yep, Cubsy commits his Ironbark there as well as his Thorns onto Chanimals. He's going to be redirecting some of that damage. Chanimals manages to find a fear. Oh! Mez could be in some trouble. He gets the anti-magic shell off. That should be enough to make him tanky enough. Trill potentially overreacting with the darkness, but I can't really blame them. There's been so much significant burst opportunities for Super Frogs. You definitely don't want to throw the series away. There's only one game left. The winner of this game will win the tournament. Mez and Trill getting lower and lower. Another off kick there by Snuts. He's been doing a good job making sure he's rotating kicks on Sea-Doo when he is in range. But Chanimals is the one that's falling behind. Cubsy has to play catch-up. He's caught into the Asphyxiate stun. Mez getting low, caught into a kidney shot. He breaks out of that with Icebound Fortitude. Sea-Doo still has the Trinket and Spirit Link to keep Method Orange alive. And I feel like the deeper this game goes, Method Orange are slowly but surely going to be pulling ahead in terms of the damage they deal to Chanimals. But Cubsy managed to maintain his mana, actually go for a little bit of a drink there to play catch-up.
Method Orange are just making small mistakes, and Super Frogs are capitalizing on them over the late game. And even though they're compositionally and map disadvantaged, I actually think the Super Frogs are etching ahead and likely to take this. They're going to take the whole thing. Sea-Doo gets stunned on his Trinket. They're gunning down for Mez. Is this going to be a Spirit Link totem? Sea-Doo gets feared away. They use Spell Lock on Trill. I think it might have been more wise to save that in that position. They may have been nice triple stun by Chanimal. Sea-Doo sneaks into Spirit Link totem, but now their defense is cracked. There's not much left. They're stacked up for Fan of Knives, and Snuts is tearing in.
Yeah, Cubsy sitting down for a drink as well, and Snutsy has the Vendetta. Method Orange, they're going to have to hold on through that cooldown. Mez certainly is going to have to use the anti-magic zone as soon as humanly possible. Does have the anti-magic shell. There's a full kidney shot. What is Mez going to do? Opting to sit it just now. Mez pulls the trigger on the Vendetta, looking to take Mez down. Mez responds with his trinket as well as his anti-magic shell. Snuts still taking quite a bit of damage. Safeguard procs, uses the feint. Does have the evasion to fall back onto if he really needs, but Cubsy with the drink still doing great on mana. Sea-Doo as well. They're about tied at this point. Cubsy moving in cat form, looking like he potentially wants to find a bash. Finds it potentially on Sea-Doo, but that was a beautiful Chaos Nova from Trill, catching Cubsy as he pounced over towards Sea-Doo to look for that bash. Was able to shut that down. Good plays.
All right, can Method Orange stay alive for another minute? That's when they will have access to Trill's Darkness, the most powerful defensive cooldown. They may not be able to. Chanimal wants to close this out. I'd love to see another Ward Chaos Bolt. He doesn't go for it. I think another Ward Chaos Bolt might have at least banked him an anti-magic zone on that push. I think it was a huge missed opportunity for Super Frogs. They definitely could have pulled ahead. Sea-Doo with that Ascendance activated is looking to try and stabilize the team, but struggling at 26% damage. Once again, sloppy play. They're just letting Cubsy drink in the middle of the map. He resets his mana. They've got no lead in that sense. They need to burst somebody down and overwhelm them at this point. They could have secured the late game advantage, but sloppy play is now allowed Cubsy to crawl back in this series and potentially take the whole thing. They're setting up for big damage here on Mez. How will they respond? Earthen Wall Totem soaks the hit. Nice grip into triple stun for Method Orange as they try and reverse the pressure. They've switched their attention to Snuts. They're focusing a lot more on him, but that could leave Chanimal open, and I don't think you want to leave Chanimal open.
I think you're right about that. Cubsy gets interrupted. Snuts could be in some trouble, but he's kind of baiting them. He still has the Vanish. If he gets in too much trouble, he can vanish away. That'll give Cubsy enough time to keep him alive. Triple stun setup coming in from Snuts off the back of that Vanish. Now getting aggressive on Mez, who's caught into a kidney shot. Double coil coming out from Chanimals onto Sea-Doo. He gets caught into the Shadow Fury as well as the bash. Darkness saving the day for Trill, keeping Mez alive. Method Orange hang on by a thread, but there's really not much left for them to work with.
I mean, it's do or die. They have to kill Snuts. They've got no mana really left in the tank. They've got cooldown, so they can just push forward with nothing but aggression, but they're going to leave Chanimal open. They're going to leave all of the Chaos Bolts open at 33% dampening. That's really risky, but they have got no other choice. There's too much defense for Chanimal. There's too much mana on Cubsy. Mez is burning the candlestick down quickly with Icebound Fortitude now out of the way. They desperately try and grip Snuts to the pillar to burst him. They're not finding it. Cubsy stabilizes. This Thorns damage is going to be way more devastating at 35% dampening. Sea-Doo is basically tapped out on mana. He's got Spearling Totem and Anti-Magic Zone. As soon as those are gone, it's basically it for the Method Orange here in Game 7. Cubsy, is he sitting in? Oh, is he open again to get a drink? He's finally denied, but Chanimal has secured a full fear onto Sea-Doo. Mez is isolated. Can they take him down? They aren't able to connect. Trill is peeling Snuts away. He's a bit reluctant to overextend. Actually, some hesitation here on Snuts' part. I guess they see the advantage they've got in terms of mana. Snuts doesn't want to throw the game, so he's playing it more slowly, allowing his whole team to then push forward. Stun on Trill, they make the swap. They're trying to catch him off guard. Triple Shadow Fury again, secured by Chanimal. Dark Soul available. Infernal's in 10. Super Frogs are looking to take it.
Everything on the line at 40% dampening. Sea-Doo gets caught into the fear. Trill in midfield. Who is Super Frogs going to be going after? All three members looking prime at this particular point in the game. Chanimal's taking a little bit of burst. Now a full kidney shot on Mez. He does have the anti-magic zone. If he drops, or if he has it available, he might need to use it. Dark Soul Infernals gets used by Chanimals. They need to avoid Chanimals at all costs. Snuts uses the everyman for himself. Racial breaks out of the stun, looking to close out this game. Fan of Knives fans coming in. Sea-Doo's getting lower. How are you going to keep your team alive, Sea-Doo? You got the Spiritling Totem. He needs to make sure he drops it in the nick of time, but Super Frogs just seem to have all the advantages.
They're all dead. Sea-Doo, what are you going to do? Off the back of sloppy plays, they're just all dead. Super Frogs have done it. They battled uphill, disadvantage after disadvantage, but have managed to conquer the Spring Cup number 3.
They just took to make it to LAN, because that's really the reason that we care about the standings right now. It's going to be because of LAN. The move. This is a team that you expect in North America to make it to LAN. This is one of the best performances we see. They make it to the broadcast day today. They hadn't been making it to Sundays. If they can keep getting here,